Good evening, everyone, except for Russian President Vladimir Putin, and welcome to another episode of Blizzard Comedy's broadcast Avalanche. I am your host, Johnny Collins. I have long black hair, pink and blue eyeshadow in the trans colors, and glasses that are definitely not undermining that makeup and reflecting back the script I'm currently reading into the webcam. In the news this month, Conservative politician and certified loser Michael Gove unveils the government's plan for levelling up the north of England by 2030. And in the tradition of levelling up, it'll take far more time than it's worth, is essential for surviving past the first section of the game, and the rich get to pay extra money on microtransactions to immediately win. Sign up to Raid Shadow Cabinet Legends today. That doesn't technically work, but I really want to say Raid Shadow Cabinet Legends. One day there'll be Shadow Cabinet, hopefully. We'll see. I'm not counting on it. The COVID-19 death rate in the United Kingdom is the highest it's been in a year. So naturally, we are continuing to ease all restrictions and stop free testing by the 1st of April, because we can't have the highest rate of COVID deaths if no one knows that they died of COVID. Checkmate, liberals. It is estimated that 18 million households in England, Wales, and Scotland are going to be paying an average of almost £700 extra a year for gas and electricity, thanks to a 54% price cap increase. But Rishi Sunak has attempted to offset this by pledging a loan of a Kit Kat Chunky and a go on his PS5 to play Elden Ring if they promise not to overwrite his save. I didn't expect that one to be the biggest laugh. In other news, no fewer than 5 of Boris Johnson's aides have resigned after fallout from the Partygate scandal. On the bright side, he now has few enough friends that he could technically hold a party during lockdown restrictions and not break the rule of 6. Police have arrested 2 people for shouting traitor at Keir Starmer in Westminster after Boris Johnson spread a debunked conspiracy that Starmer was responsible for the failure to prosecute Jimmy Savile. Speaker Lindsay Hull condemns the abuse, saying there's plenty of valid reasons to call Starmer a traitor to class, Labour voters, and indeed left-wing politics and his own MPs. The spreading bullshit is not only harmful, but also entirely unnecessary. Boris Johnson has implemented the cabinet reshuffle, making Jacob Rees-Mogg the Minister of State for Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency, which is fitting, as both of those things have a value of 0. Met Police Commissioner, or former Met Police Commissioner, Cressida Dick, stands down mere hours after stating that she had no intention of doing so. To be fair, it's not uncommon for girl dicks to stand down despite wills. Damn estrogen. I'm so sorry for linking those 2 things. Storm Eunice has become one of the most powerful storms to hit the UK since Prince Andrew was outed as a nonce. Eunice included wind gusts of over 120 miles per hour in some parts of the country, massive damage to the O2 Arena in London, and 3 people dead. Although, to be fair, my cousin's mate's boyfriend's dog's Metamor said hospitals have actually been recording Eunice as the cause of death for anyone who's died during the storm, regardless of their actual causes. And in any case, surely it'll do more damage to the economy and our livelihoods in the long run if we stay indoors than if we just get out and learn to live with the storm. And also, I heard that double-glazed windows are actually being built with 5G transmitters to create the storm. So I wouldn't trust any advice from our so-called government when Eunice was clearly an inside job.
That'd be so cool.
And finally, both for this section and possibly life in general, Russia has begun a full-scale military invasion into Ukraine after years of tensions on the border. Outraged at this, Joe Biden and Boris Johnson have banded together and said that Russia are no longer allowed to perform at Eurovision while the invasion's going on. And at any time Vladimir Putin orders a pint in the UK, he's only going to be given 330 millilitres, but still charged the amount for a full pint. That'll teach him to be a homophobic, tyrannical, dictating colonizer. But I'll tell you who's not homophobic, tyrannical, dictating colonizer. Our team captain. Please welcome.
That's good. I mean, it's an accurate intro.
Yeah, so. you've definitely both had worse introductions. You've probably had worse introductions from me. On Katie's team tonight, we are joined by we have the Force Behind Quantum Leopard, James Ross, and the Princess of Cornwall Trivia, MABEL SLATTERY.
Hello.
And on Tom's team, we are joined by the ever-lovely David Stanier and BBC New Comedy Award winner 2021, Anna Thomas.
Hello.
Hey. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Katie, how have you been? How have you been since we saw you last month?
I don't have COVID anymore.
Yay!
Hey! Loving post-COVID life. I slept in my makeup last night, so I don't have any makeup on and my eye hurts a little bit. So if I'm a little bit off, I find that a lot of comedy, like what you see, it comes from like the inner corner of my left eye, which is now a bit painful. So relying on my team. I was going to say who have functioning eyes, but they're both wearing glasses, so I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if visual fidelity is that useful in this particular show, but it's good to know anyway. Speaking of that, can you describe your appearance briefly for the sake of any visually impaired people who might be tuning in?
Yeah, I've got big backcombed hair but shaved sides, so I'm quite aerodynamic. Like it simultaneously like cones sound into my head, but also absorbs it like a fairy mic in a storm. So I can hear something. Not to brag. I've got a nice handmade shawl, which has got all patterns on it that I knitted because we were showing off our little handmade things. And I was like, I'll wear this to show it off. And I'm already absolutely boiling. So I'm going to do like a little drag reveal of my emerald green velour tracksuit I found in a charity shop for £5. And it's the best thing I've ever bought.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, and no makeup because of hurty eye. So less kind of terrifying goth than normal and more just like, oh, Robert Smith's had some work done.
Wonderful. So I've put Katie's social links in the chat if anyone wants to go follow her on the various platforms. And also, she's got a podcast that you should listen to at Fun Time. Have there been any more episodes recently? I don't know. I know it's slowed down a little bit.
We recorded one.
Yeah,
we recorded one, and then we've just been like editing it, but because we hadn't done one for a while, we just got overexcited, and the recording was like 3 hours long. And between us, we've been trying to get it down to a listenable length. And it's been taking ages, but it's done, and I've got to listen to it tonight. So hopefully, there should be a new episode going up soon. Which I could give you the secret thing of like the theme.
Oh,
I mean, we recorded it ages ago, and now I've got to remember. Oh, that's it. We make a Spotify playlist so that you, the listener, will fall in love with us.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, you get to enjoy that, and it does have the Spotify playlist to go with it, and it's about 8 hours long. It includes a whole episode of our own podcast. So,
oh, fucking brilliant!
It's really good.
Definitely send us a link to that. I put the link to the Spotify show in there, so presumably the next episode will be up there when it is ready. I also like how you defined 3 hours as like more than a listenable length, given that this show is usually at least 2.5.
Which is a listenable.
I mean, you're not wrong.
3, too much.
Unless it's for New Year, in which case it's 4.5. But that's fine. That's ages away. There's not going to be another New Year, possibly ever.
6 hour Blizzard show. 6 hour Blizzard show.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Katie. We're joined by Tom. Tom, I feel like we've not seen you for a while. How are you doing?
Oh, I had my annual New Year wobble and just disappeared for a few months. I'm all right. I'm good. I do have COVID. So it's not. So, like, I'm fine. I'm on day 8. I'm at the stage where I don't feel like I'm dying so much, but I am always tired and shitting everything. So it's like, so it swings and roundabouts. But I'm good. I'm like, well, what, right? I always try and start the show in a good mood. I'm like, smiley, gonna be a good show. And then you do your 5-minute roundup of the news. And it's just like, it's all fucking hopeless.
Yeah, this has been a particularly bad one as well.
Remember slow news months? No.
Wonderful. Could you just describe your appearance briefly for the sake of...
I have one blonde hair, John Major's glasses. I kind of look like what would have happened if Kurt Cobain became a youth pastor.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, that really tickled me. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Tom. Have you got anything coming up that you'd like to share with the lovely Blizzard audience?
As usual, myself and Andrew Marsh, No Money in the Bank, have Valhalla of Decadence on April 27th, which is headlined by Anna Thomas. So that's lovely. And we had to cancel last week's, which was opened by Katie Mitchell, because I had COVID and Andrew looked a bin. So
I pulled out the one in December because I had COVID.
Did you have COVID? Right. Eventually, it will happen. We're talking to the venue, Wharf Chambers, Leeds, at the moment, and hopefully we'll have a rescheduled date for that, and we'll have some ticket links up for the April show as soon as we know about a rescheduled show. But I can tell you that the poster, on request of Anna Thomas for this one, is going to be a No Country for Old Men crossed over with Garfield.
Very excited to see this. Lovely. Tom's Twitter and Instagram, and as well as No Mind Box website, are in the Twitch chat, so you can keep up to date with any developments on that show in there. Thanks very much for coming on the show, Tom. And we've got a fantastic roster of guests today. We're joined by James Ross of Quantum Leopard. James, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Johnny?
Good. Yeah. I'm. Yeah.
James Ross asks the tough questions. He gets up.
That speaks volumes about the manners of the rest of us.
Okay, we all raised in a fucking barn. I assume so, given the average level of personal grooming, etc. But I hope they're coming as well.
Let's
not make this about me, Johnny. Let's make this about you. I think we've heard enough about the guests. I think we should hear more about you. How have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been good. But before we do that, can you just briefly describe your appearance to make us go more interesting? And then I will answer any questions you have for me. We don't need to plug any of your stuff.
I have cheekbones that you could juice a lemon on, a nose. A nose that would strike that men desire and women want to be. I have a moustache that would mean that evolutionarily I am perfectly equipped. I stand like a coiled spring. I stand like a slinky at the top of the stairs of evolution for the leap when humanity finally takes the plunge and becomes a filter feeder. It's there to just sift out the minerals as I ingest gallons of krill at a time. I have a lantern jaw in the sense that it is gas-powered and on fire. I have my hair tied back for your safety, not mine. I'm wearing a charming jacket that is a sequined leopard print, and it's for anybody who can't see it. To be honest, it's probably a good job because it is, if anything, too arousing. I've got eyes that you could man could drown in if you were foolish enough to swim in eyes, and if anything, I should stop there because that is not enough description, and I want to leave you wanting more.
Fantastic! I really like how just like the shoulders of your jacket really blend in with your curtains as well.
This is the thing about leopard print. It's actually a surprisingly good camouflage. I have some leopard print. I have leopard print carpet, right? And I have two cats. And one of the things that I've discovered about having leopard print carpet is that leopard print carpet perfectly camouflages anything that comes out of either end of a cat. It does make me think that leopards are much less glamorous because what are they hiding in the wild? Like, have they soiled themselves? Have they got a little bit of sick down the side? We simply don't know. And we'll never find out. Science just hasn't found the answers.
No, it hasn't.
No.
Wonderful. So I've put James' social links as well as Quantum Leopards in the chat. You want to tell us a bit about any shows you've got coming up?
Yeah, we've got two shows I should plug. So we're doing we've got our 7th birthday show, woo, with Beth Black. That will be on the 12th of March at 2 North End, right near King's Cross. Saturday night, pay what you like, no punching down, lovely time. We've also got Alex Keeley, Yuriko Katani, Karis Bradley, Louisa Keaton that night. So it's a great lineup. You should definitely come, particularly because it is. I mean, if you're skint, it's no pounds, right? If you've got money, fucking give us your money. But if you've got no money, come along and have a lovely time. If you look us up, if you just Google Quantum Leopard Beth Black, you should find it. It's also the tickets are available on Ticketex. You will need to reserve in advance, and you will need a same-day negative COVID test to gain entry. So do that. Keep everyone safe. If you can't make that because you're online, then you should check out. We do show recordings on Patreon. We only charge when a new live show video is released, and tiers start at £1. We've just put one up for our last show with Tony Law, Rachel Krieger, Jordan Gray, and Ken Grinnell. We did book 2 Essex girls on one bill, but in our defence, one of them is a magnificently talented trans comic, and the other is the only full-time professional Orthodox Jewish comic on the circuit. So I feel that's offset it somewhat. So we're also doing a Dungeons and Leopards live stream, which is sort of D&D one-shot, fun, buzzy, fun time. If you care about the rules of D&D, fucking do not watch this live stream. But if you want to watch a bunch of people from the Rust Core Gaming podcast and me kind of piss around a bit on a live stream, we're doing that, and we're doing that as a benefit to raise funds for the Just Eat strikers who are taking industrial action against Just Eat, who have been absolute fucking pricks in South Yorkshire and indeed globally, but specifically in South Yorkshire at the moment. And we're raising funds for them. We did one a couple months ago and it went really well, so we're doing another one for them now. That's it, and that's on the 6th. So if you fancy that, then just follow Quantum Leopard on Twitch, and I will make myself known on the Twitch now, so you've got that as a direct link there as well.
Fab, yep. All of the links are in the chat, the Facebook groups, Twitch, and the Patreon. If you want to go support them, I have described Quantum Leopard as Blizzard Comedy's daddy show, by the way, James Ross. So hope that's fine. I didn't feel like there was any other way to sell it.
I am frequently described. Yeah, I mean, I am everybody's dad. I think that's the thing that everyone needs to bear in mind here. Yeah, except more emotionally available. That's the main difference, and more supportive. Yeah, that'll do. I am actually also a dad. I think it's important to put that in there. This isn't cosplay, and I'm method, right? I walk the walk. I had a child just so I'd be called daddy more often. Just saying.
Oh, wonderful. On that note, David, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Good. Do you want to describe your appearance briefly, just for the sake of any either visually impaired or people who just simply don't want to look at our faces, so they have to visualize us regardless?
Sure. Yeah. How do I describe this? White British male. Boring. Brown hair, brown beard, little close-lip smile. A nose. What a nose. Roman makes a Roman go, whoa, man. and yeah, I've got a shadow. Yeah.
Fantastic. I don't think there's going to be any question to what you look like now. Thanks for that, David. So, David, this is your first time on the show for, I think, about 2 years. Certainly, it was definitely 2020 when you last appeared. So, thank you very much for coming back. David has recently released a completely free special on YouTube, which I'm going to put the link into the chat now. You want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, I've done like an online comedy special kind of thing. Not live, think kind of Bo Burnham. But this is my second one. I did one 5 months before he did one. So yeah, that's on YouTube. It's about 48 minutes. If you've got 48 minutes spare, go have some fun with me.
Absolutely, go do that. I have put the link in the Twitch chat. Please don't go and watch it now because this show will be continuing. Can
I just interrupt briefly? You say it's very good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm really fucking picky because I'm very old and I'm very jaded, and it's very good, and you should watch it.
Thanks, Picky J.
I would like to say, if you watch Blizzard and also at the same time watch David Sadier's YouTube special in reverse, they line up perfectly.
Oh, fantastic.
They need to smash the state.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, thank you very much. Yep, do go and add that video to your watch later queue and watch it maybe as soon as this show's finished, because who needs to sleep? Thank you very much for coming on the show, David. We're also finally joined by MABEL SLATTERY. MABEL, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm all right. How are you?
I just want to clarify as well. I've not forgot about Anna. I meant finally joined us in. It's been we've not had you on this show yet, and we've been wanting to for a while. That's what I meant. I'm alive, which is progress from last month when I decidedly was not. Yeah, I'm doing good. Do you want to briefly describe your appearance for the sake of any visually impaired people tuning in tonight?
Yeah, I am a Becky buck-toothed lady with longer brown hair that is in pigtails. I essentially look like the creepy kid that turns up in a horror film. And like either that, I'm like a cross between that and like the girl in a teen film who's like the nerdy one, but like they do her up for the prom, and then people don't recognise her because she takes her glasses off
Yeah,
and puts a skirt on and doesn't have a book in front of her face.
but that's the secret. The book blocks the face, so you don't know what's behind the book.
Although I think they get that wrong in like teen films, because there is no way I'm going to a dance like that and not taking a book with me. I think I took 2 books to my MABEL. It wasn't a long time ago, but I think I did take 2 books.
Sorry, I'm too distracted by the phrase MABEL at the MABEL. Right.
Oh, absolutely perfect. I don't think I never went to my school prom because I didn't like anyone there. I just realised as well, last year should have been our 10-year reunion, which I either wasn't invited to or didn't happen. Either way, I'm happy. But
yeah, I didn't. Admittedly, I didn't feel like going to my my MABEL. But the thing that was like really good about it was that it was in the Atlantic Hotel in Newquay, which is the place that the original Witches film was filmed.
Oh, that's
so. It was just me running around the Atlantic Hotel having a great time.
This
is why the Witches were filmed.
Releasing mice.
Yeah. Just me going around releasing mice everywhere, just going, haha, take this. Now they will think they are children.
This definitely sounds like a 90s straight to TV comedy I want to watch. That's
what, me wandering around hotels releasing mice?
Yeah, just that. Yeah,
all the witches.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful Twitch stream I would watch, new hotel every week.
I mean, to be fair, I do live in Cornwall. There are plenty of them to choose from, and the way things are going, I imagine a lot of them would just burn them down for the insurance anyway. So.
Oh, wonderful. So Mabel's Twitter is in the Twitch chat if you want to go give her a follow, which you absolutely should. I don't think you've got anything particular coming up, but do you want to tell us what you've been up to, how you're doing? Tell us all about the drugs you're on.
That is basically all of the day. I've been changing antidepressant medication, so I've been weaning off fluoxetine for a whole month, as my doctor put it. We need to take you off the megadose and then try and give you a new megadose. I do love my doctor. She is an absolute gem. But she was just like, okay, so, this is what we're doing. We just need to have a plan in place. For goodness sake, don't go to work. Because I'm a teacher, and she was just like, we don't need. She was like, teaching is horrible enough as it is. I imagine you come home crying enough as it is without needing to do it when you're not medicated.
He says.
Is Tom relating to this a bit too hard?
A little bit too much.
So I've come off fluoxetine. I've gone on to venlafaxine, which is a different type of antidepressant, but it makes you feel very, very spacey. So if I'm a little bit more away with the fairies than usual, that's what I was going to say. I am usually quite away with the fairies anyway, so it's not like I'm, anything like that. So yeah, my plans for the next month or so is just sleep lots and try and get back to going to work so that I can pay my rent.
Yeah, that is a very valid goal. So there's no way you can particularly support Mabel doing that financially, but if you just want to give us some encouragement on Twitter's in the Twitch chat. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Mabel. I'm looking forward to the high concentration rounds that you're definitely gonna.
I will definitely be entirely there for and not looking up into the middle
absolutely.
distance. like a really cotton wool version of 1,000-yard stare.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you very much for coming on the show. And last but not least, definitely not least, we've got Anna Thomas. Anna, how you doing?
Hello, you're right. I'm okay. I'm on the energy drinks, but I'm all right.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. Well, before I ask how are you? How are you again? Sorry.
Yeah. I'm doing good. I must say, I'm really enjoying your shirt or blouse or whatever it is you're wearing. It is very nice and colourful. I like it. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, should I do the describing what I look like?
Yes, please do. That was going to be my next question. You read my mind, Anna. Thank you.
The twins Swedish in this mind. I don't know. They do know. So I'm wearing like a yellow, would you say Hawaiian shirt?
I think
with
Hawaiian,
like,
yeah.
what's on there? I've not really looked that close. It looks a bit like a map, but not really. If maps were just palm trees. What else am I wearing? I look a bit feral today. I won't lie. I've been running in the, but not running. Running in the. Oh, my hair's falling out. Not literally. What's it called? I had it in a bun and then it's coming loose. But yeah, I look a bit feral. I've got long brown hair and half of it's up in a bun because it's doing my head in. And then I've got. What have I got? I've got my magnetic lashes. Oh, I shouldn't go too close. I can imagine them metal on your eyes. And then I don't know. I've got blue nail varnish. Don't look too close again because I've been eating them. I'm a growing girl and I'm hungry. Lots of protein. And then I don't know. Oh, and I got what are these called? Headphones on. Headphones, and I got what's this? A microphone. But if I'm very loud, I'm sorry. But it's for the vision, the people I'm describing the visions for. That's not how you phrase it. The audio description.
Describing visions, yeah.
Like a dream poem.
Yeah.
I'm having a that's so Raven moment. No, what's it called? The audio description. I've got my headphones. Is my timer going off?
No, that was mine telling me I need to put the bins out. So at the end, can someone remind me to put the bins out?
Get those bins out. Yeah, I look feral. Can I go out with the bins this time?
You're not allowed.
When you say kind of go out with the bins, do you mean romantically or just like in the trap?
Nah, it's just a sex thing.
Just a sex thing.
No,
You know
I
what?
don't
Romantic at all.
like, oh, you'll be out with the bins.
Honestly, it's been a while. I wouldn't rule it out. I'll take a bin.
Wonderful. Oh, that was certainly a trip. Thank you very much. I put Anna's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook in the Twitch chat. Go check them out. Also, Anna has various gifts coming up. One of them being the one that Tom was just plugging, as well as at the Dead Comics Society on the 26th of June, which is a way off, but you can book tickets for that already. Have you got anything else coming up that you want to tell us about, Anna? Have you got any nice plans for the weekend? Just aren't comedy related? That's fine.
This week, I've got my calendar here. Shall I have a look? No, I shouldn't. Yeah, I'm looking. I am. I'm in Llandrindod Wells this weekend.
Fantastic.
I need more energy drinks, and then I'm in Leeds. Very similar. Can you tell I've not been looking at maps when I've been booking these things? My car's going to have a lovely time.
They both begin with L. Surely they're near each other.
That's the thing about Britain, it's sorted alphabetically. That's just so helpful. To be fair, everywhere in the country that starts with...
are only in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us, Anna. Now, we are 10 minutes behind, so let's go. Thank you. So let's crack on with the show. Our first game is Fake News. This is a game where we check to see how much everyone's been paying attention to the news. If you have, you won't be on the show because you would be too depressed. So we are going to provide teams with a selection of headlines, some of them made up, all of them made up, really. Headlines aren't a tangible thing that just exists. They're all made up by someone. Is anything real? Too deep, too soon. Some of these headlines were made up by someone who wasn't me in response to an actual tangible news story. Some of them I made up to be a shit and provide content for this tenuous stream series. And it is your job to identify what the latter is. So we're going to start with Katie's team. Katie, your three headlines are: female banker awarded £2 million after drunk colleagues left witch's hat on her desk. £740,000 painting is ruined after bored security guard draws eyes on faceless figures on his first day in the job at a Russian gallery. And royal souvenirs recalled for printing the wrong date. Which of these do you think I made up?
I think the second one is, I'm pretty sure that's real.
Yeah, that one is real.
But I mean, is it going to be one of these twists, like Johnny's changed what country it is or something, so it's not really a Russian gallery, or like maybe it was a Ukrainian gallery and then events caught up with him. Like,
when this was written.
Yeah.
All I remember about that was that the eyes were actually really cute. Like he made the figures look, they look little dot eyes, and he made the figures look really, really cute. I like the painting more.
So it's not ruined. It's
improved.
True. Yeah.
The correct verb there would be augmented.
Oh man, you've been in too many art galleries. We used to do that thing. We used to do that when I was a student. Was because been in Falmouth, there's just art galleries everywhere, and they're always opening and closing. And there was a thing you could do like an art gallery pub crawl where you just went around to art gallery openings and had free wine for like the whole night.
What I did when I was in art school as well.
Yeah. But you'd have to speak like the proper art language. Like, I really enjoy what you've done with the medium here. Like,
yeah, your use of negative space is like is really good. I love the way the pieces work together. Like,
yeah,
I talk up the curator and you can do what you want. It's great.
Yeah.
I did social science. I did social science, so instead of an art degree, so I just went around art galleries, pissed, decrying things for their bourgeois formalism, which is fun to drink a game. Every time you decry something for its bourgeois formalism, take a drink and then move on to the next painting. So these headlines.
Yeah, I know that there was something printed wrong on all the souvenirs, but I don't know whether it was the wrong thing.
Oh, that's got Johnny Little Trickster written all over it.
Was it maybe? Yeah. Was it? Well, I mean, again, could this be something like they were printed wrong, but maybe it was like it's not the wrong date. Maybe it's like they did a run of souvenir stamps. They printed the Queen's face on the wrong side. Put the wrong queen. Put the queen upside down because she's also the Australian head of state, like something like that. Like, is that what they did?
Yeah. The Queen, the band on it.
Yeah, very nice.
They just released them with.
How did we make this mistake?
I just googled Queen and
a range of commemorative stamps with Prince Andrew on them. There we are. That's a collector's plate no one wants, isn't it? Right.
I had a Charles and Camilla one with Charles and Worst Diana.
To be fair, I think that was the official Cornish one. Charles and not Diana.
Charles and Diana are on one side, and then you turn it over next to the little Royal Joltimar, there's Camilla Parker Bowles with a knife and a grim smile. They
missed a trick by not printing a Camilla Parker Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, well done. I enjoy that. Right, okay, so, all right, so, I mean, I reckon
I just want to say, I wish more people, I don't want to live up to the goth stereotypes in this, but I wish more people would leave witch hats on my desk.
I've been wearing witch hats for blipping ages.
You know what, Katie? I gave you this headline purely because I thought you'd say exactly that.
That to me implies that it is the real headline. I think Johnny's just given themselves away with that.
They have.
So maybe it's that one. It's also like that's a plausible headline because it's like there's very definitely a backstory there because even banks don't toss out £2 million at a time for a hat on a desk, right? So there's definitely going to be like.
Oh, there's
oh no!
There's clearly a pattern of. Who's gone?
Oh, you went for a little bit, but you're back again. So
you're back.
That's fine. I'll have you all know that you were all. I was still here, but I stopped perceiving you for a second because, and therefore you ceased to exist. That's what it was.
Right.
Just in case you're wondering.
I do wonder where all my time goes. I thought I was a procrastinator, but you're just not paying attention to me in that moment.
Exactly.
I feel better about what I'm doing with my life.
I have the occasional nap. So my advice is don't be driving when I do that. That's tip. All right. So
that's when I turned into a camel.
Yep. Okay, all right. So we reckon the female banker awarded £2 million after drunk colleagues left witches hat on a desk is probably real.
Yeah.
And we think that we think there's a painting that's been ruined by security guards because they were bored. Blah blah blah. We think that that's real, which means that presumably Royal Souvenirs recalled for printing wrong date is by process of elimination the fake story.
It's altered.
Fake for some reason or another.
Unless, but then the factor that we're not controlling for here is, has the perfidious Collins tweaked something in one of the stories?
The perfidious Collins needs to be like their stage name.
The perfidious Collins.
If you go into magic, that's your magician name.
Don't. I mean, yeah.
I have no intention of doing that. Don't worry.
Oh, I just want you to use that name.
Perfidious Collins.
What other vaguely misogynistic things could you leave on a desk to undermine a woman in power?
I know. A complete box set of Star Trek Voyager to indicate that women are not ready for positions of command, given that fucking writing. There you go. I went there.
I went there. Way out of this.
Yeah. My team.
Just saying.
Right. Now that James has been cancelled, Katie, what answer?
If that's the hill I have to die on, I think it's worth it. Right?
I bet you like Enterprise, you wanker.
Which headline are you going to go for?
Royal Souvenirs?
Royal Souvenirs.
Yeah, Royal Souvenirs.
You are correct. That is the fake one. Yes, a female banker was awarded $2 million after drunk colleagues left a witch's hat on her desk. With £2 million and a free witch's hat. What a bargain! And the painting was ruined after security guard drew eyes on them on his first day. Whoever said graffiti wasn't a viable tool against capitalism. But no Royal Souvenirs were recalled for printing the wrong date, as historically the royal family has been pretty forgiving whenever there's been confusion about dates, or as an example, the ages of people based on them. The real story there was they'd accidentally printed the word Jubilee instead of Jubilee. But if anyone was wondering, that was the real misprint. Okay, Tom's team. Tom, your three headlines are: pensioner accidentally wins local Conservative club premises due to typo on raffle. New Zealand plays Barry Manilow to repel Parliament protesters, and man reunited with false teeth 11 years after vomiting them into a bin in Benetton.
Right, so the third one's true.
You got your teeth back then, Tom.
It was me. I'm finally sober, and we found them. I don't. Any thoughts, team?
I mean, getting your teeth back, it's, I don't know. If it's in the bin, it's gone.
It feels too far-fetched. Like, I once found my glasses after losing them in the sea after, 3 hours. But that felt far-fetched. So 11 years. But also, it's so far-fetched that it kind of has to be true. Unless Johnny does just know me well enough that I'm just going to go, too stupid, definitely true.
I mean, I want it to be true.
All of these headlines are actually about Tom. Tom actually has a in the New Zealand House of Parliament. And also attends raffles at Conservative clubs.
No, I mean, that is true. But would you even want your teeth after they've been in a bin for that long?
Not to put in the mouth.
Yeah, but you look feral. And that's not punching down because Anna said it herself.
Also, it's punching across because you also look feral, Tom.
Exactly.
It's technically punching out because she's much more professionally accomplished than you are.
Oh, I don't know. I put them under the tap, right? But also, wouldn't it be nice, it'd be nice to be reunited, isn't it? If it's inside your mouth, you've got to be close with it. It'd be like being
No,
that's not a rule.
Do you
I
really
like
still
to
know each
follow.
other?
Exactly.
I've had a lot of stuff in my mouth I never want to see again.
Yeah, and to be fair, your mouth does change over time.
Your mouth changes over time.
Yeah.
Mine does, yeah.
I kind of think that's true.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah.
So silly.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's so nice. Like, it was a program with Davina McCall where she reunites that family. Imagine she like brings
Million
them in.
Pound
And yeah, that one. Big Brother. What's it?
Tends to, oh, damn it.
But imagine her bringing it, someone in, we're going to be, you haven't seen them in years, and brings in this like mouldy teeth on the table. I don't know. I hope that
And then this is your life bucket. Fucking dentures.
And they go in there crying. Oh, it'd be lovely. Oh, you know what? I think the second one's true because I've seen, I don't know if it's one of those trick ones though, and it wasn't Barry Manilow, but I did see they were playing music and they looked lovely. It looked like a very nice time.
Who's protesting anything in New Zealand? Like,
Oh, maybe it was in New Zealand. Oh, this round, I'm telling you.
It could be to reopen borders, maybe, because they were closed off for quite a while.
Oh.
oh. And they want to see their friends.
Yes, I mean, if I lived in New Zealand now, I would stay in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And Prejna accidentally wins local Conservative club premises due to typo on raffle.
How would you do a typo in a raffle? You get a book of tickets. You sell them for £5 a pound. Five for a pound.
You
get the numbers on two.
Well, it was originally Conservative promises.
No one gets those.
See, I think this was true because raffle prizes are notoriously shit. So it's got to be true. Like, no. Actually, it was a typo. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, I'm actually... I just entered the meat raffle.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I'd win some Conservative club premises and have some fun.
What would you do with your Conservative club, David?
Go in the kitchen, cook all the food, run around the hall.
Unleashing mice.
She's been a bloody
slam
Home
the door.
Alone.
Right at the bar, there's probably got to be some good booze in there.
Right.
Hmm.
I think they could all be true, but I want to say that the first one might be fake because I don't believe that they would give it him based on it.
You can win it and not
it's
get
gendered,
it, though.
but-
Oh, yeah.
True. No, but win implies that you've received a prize. And I can't, they won't even give me PIP. They're not going to give away one of the cups, are they?
So you're going for the first one that's fake?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yep, you are correct. So that is fake. New Zealand did indeed play Barry Manilow to deter protesters, although as Andrew Taylor pointed out, 90% sure all the people who protest COVID restrictions would enjoy Barry Manilow, so I don't know how much that works. And yes, a man was reunited with an 11-year-old for Steve after vomiting them into a bin in Benidorm, but sadly a pensioner did not win a local Conservative club premises due to a raffle error. He just inherited it because he was born into wealth. So at the end of that round, you both got the answer right, so it's 3 points each. Our next game is This Just In. This Just In is a game where our panel takes on the roles of news anchors and have to build a complete story based off of a first line, one at a time, and taking it in turns. We're going to start with Katie's team, and as a first, you've got a choice of topics. So, do you want a story on economics, religion, or zoology?
Zoology.
Zoology.
Go for zoology. Okay, we might do more of these if we have time. But yeah, we'll start with zoology. So we'll go with, I'll read the line, then we'll go Katie, James, then Mabel. I will tell you when to stop. And yeah, it's just one sentence each. So Katie, your first line is, Jonathan, a world-famous 190-year-old gay giant tortoise in St. Helena, has officially become the world's oldest tortoise.
No longer a twink. This tortoise has been alive and saw both world wars, the plague of 1918, and the gay rights movement in full. And he's quite happy with how things have turned out.
He spends his time in his enclosure telling surprisingly erotically charged stories about the comradeship of war. And writing angry letters to local newspapers.
His biggest dinner story is about how he met Darwin and didn't like him.
True, the 190-year-old tortoise talks about how Darwin was well interested in the evolution of species, but the thing about evolution of species is you need new ones, and he didn't really like gay people because they generally can't. I mean, there are options, the tortoise then explained, but you know what I mean. He continued.
The long rambling anecdotes continued long into the night, unsettling this reporter. But then I suppose if you're a 190-year-old tortoise, you haven't really ever been taught the discipline of set length.
I think that's an appropriate place to end that. Wonderful. Okay, we'll move on to Tom's team, and then maybe we'll do another one each if people want to. Tom, you can choose between public services, diet, or the royal family.
What do you think, team?
Public services, diet or royal family?
Yeah.
Public services.
Yeah, no,
Public services.
Okay.
Public services.
Okay, we'll go Tom, David, then Anna, and loop it. So Tom, your first line is: Royal Mail have launched an investigation into a video that showed postmen staggering in the street after accidentally eating brownies laced with cannabis.
The postmen were of course apprehended for this act after trying to post 17 Domino's pizzas through 5 letterboxes.
The 5 other postmen were apprehended later when their eyes were as red as their vans.
Shit. Sorry.
That is probably what they said.
And then they all 5 of them, when they were arrested, they all went, shit. That's something. Yeah.
The night unfortunately took a turn for the worse when Postman Pat was caught shooting up into that weird gap between his nose.
Mr. Pat's cat, Jess, was later found to be very sad.
I'm going to end that one there.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But the thing is, though, that if you're like an animated plastic doll, it's going to be much harder to find a vein, isn't it? Like that. That's why Postman Pat has never had the gritty reboot that we're all been holding out for. Like,
I think
Helicopter. How much more gritty reboot do you want?
what's that?
Helicopter. How much
Postman
more
Pat's got a helicopter.
Yeah.
Look, unless it's like strafing a civilian area, it's not gritty enough for me. I'm just going to come out and say it.
I think if they were going to reboot Postman Pat, they should just make her a lesbian, though. I mean, she's got a van and a cat. It's like it's written for lesbians.
I think you'll find that Postman Pat is the ghost of Kiev, but okay.
Right. Okay. Do you want to do another one, or do you want to move on? I'm fine either way.
Let's go another round. I think.
One, cool. I just want to say you both got 5 points for that one, so you're still neck and neck. Okay. Economics or religion, Katie?
Religion.
Religion. Okay. This time, let's start with James, then Mabel, then Katie. We're going with religion. Yep. Yeah. Your first line is thousands of baptisms invalidated by priest use of one wrong word.
The word was whoops.
Result.
Is that the end of the story? Is that sorry?
In terrible circumstances, this meant that thousands of children across the world were called whoops, and it was beginning to cause some confusion.
In the old days, all men were called John, and this was just the start of a new tradition of thousands of Johns. In particular, the word was used right at the end of the baptism in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy. Whoops!
The doctrine of original sin has been retconned to become the doctrine of the original mistake.
With this in mind, with this in mind, several priests are also under investigation for a number of drownings.
Let's end that.
Previous era.
Oh. Go on. Oh, no, go on. Go on. If you got
What did the priest do in a previous era, Katie?
What didn't they do in a previous era?
In a previous era, this would have been prime material for edgy atheist comedians, but currently they're all too busy attacking trans people to have taken any notice of this funny religion story.
Okay.
But on the bright side, Whoops is a genderless name.
Brilliant. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, Tom's team, diet or royal family?
Diet.
Diet. Okay. Well,
Diet.
okay. We'll start with. We'll start with David this time. Then we'll go David, Anna, Tom. David, your first line is: if you can get to bed an hour or so earlier than usual tonight, you could save yourself the equivalent of 3 biscuits worth of calories.
However, you'll be missing out on those late night boobies.
So stay up and just have biscuits and boobs, because what's the point?
Although, if you do choose to go to bed an hour early and save yourself those 3 biscuits, within 6 months you will be able to buy a house.
Once you purchase your house, be sure to sign up to late night boobies. This is the news.
The news has taken a terrifying turn.
On the content.
See, if I was brave enough here, I would just flash my tits. But I'm not going to. Just imagine I did, all right? Sorry.
That might get us taken off Twitch. Thanks for restraining yourself.
What if I draw some?
Yeah.
Not too realistic. The scanners will pick them up. It's too realistic. The algorithm will get them.
Yeah.
Make them like peculiarly boxy, right? That'll throw them off. But we'll get the idea.
Boxy boobs.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with boxy boobs.
Oh, she was a fine singer.
Lovely voice.
Terrible boobs.
Do we end that one there? I'm going to wait to see the tits, but...
Oh, do you want to see them? I drew them.
Yeah. Let's see
They are a little bit boxy. Oh, wait, where's the camera? Where am I? There.
Other way, yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're beautiful.
Oh, that's what we want.
Love it.
Oh, boobs.
The proportion as well. They're a little bit like Chucky's glasses, so in Rugrats. So I think
They do, and just for that, I'm going to give you a bonus point.
Thank you. What's the name of my Tomb Raider fanfiction?
At the end of that round, Katie's team were on 15 points and Tom's team were on 16 points. Mostly because right. We are now going to have a short break from the Structured Entertainment.
Sorry, I made Blizzard a bit laddie then. Sorry.
Tom, you have never made any show that you've ever been on, laddie. Don't worry.
Oh, yay!
We are going to take a short break from the Structured Entertainment, and we'll get drinks and go use the lose and talk to you in the chat, only to discover you're all much funnier than us. And really, we should be paying you to be here. But if you do want to support us financially instead, you can do so in one of the following ways, which I'm going to put in the Twitch chat now. You can donate to our PayPal, or you can subscribe to our Patreon, in which you get early access to show tickets, discounts, and other benefits from our merch store. You can subscribe to, you can subscribe to or throw bits at us on Twitch if you want to do that. Although Amazon takes more of that, so if you can do either the previous methods, that would be better. And you can also buy some merch on. Oh, thank you very much, Upbeat Metaphor, for subscribing with Prime. Really appreciate. Subscribe for 3 months. Thank you very much, Upbeat Metaphor. So yeah, if you also want to be praised in that really flattering manner, you can also subscribe, and we'd be very appreciative of that. And you can also buy merch from our big cartel. All the links are in the Twitch chat. Now, that being said, we're going to go for a break, and I'm going to go for a piss and a drink, not at the same time.
I am going to go for a coffee and a smoke, probably at the same time.
I'm going to go for
However, if everybody's going, some of us may need to stay and hold the fort.
Yeah, I'll stay for a moment, and then.
All right, cool. To be honest, it's like I can inhale cigarettes, so it'll be quick.
I mean, that is the point of cigarettes.
I'll stick around for a bit, and I'll be on the second wee shift. Even though I have, in honour of Blizzard, declared the toilets in my house gender neutral for the evening, which I thought was appropriate. Thank you. I know. I'm very giving. I think not all heroes wear capes because not all heroes can pull off a cape.
I think that's yes.
And that's mostly it, right? That's it's a style decision more than anything else.
I really want a cape. I'll be fair. I would just wear like medieval dress, like if I could get away with doing that as a general.
What is stopping you? Yeah,
exactly. YOLO.
Mostly the fact that I can't afford it at the moment.
There you go. All right, fine.
Very good reason. Very good reason. What you should do? You said you want a cape. You're knitting a blanket in some ways. A cape and a blanket are the same. So I got cramp in my foot. They are very similar.
Yeah, that is true. But I think that I probably need I'd like quite like a good cape with a hood, and I probably can't put hoods on blankets very successfly.
You have something that I need in my life, and that is standards. And fair play to you.
So I think that's
you can see I'm missing a lot of that.
I think that's one of the most inaccurate things anyone's ever said about me. But thank you.
Oh, I bloody love you, Mabel. Like, need more Mabels in this world. Like, there
weren't a lot when I started being because Mabel is a nickname. There weren't a lot. Yeah, there weren't a lot of Mabels when I started being called Mabel, and now it's like back then people would be like, oh yeah, well, I've got a cat called Mabel, or like oh I've got a mad ant called Mabel, and now it's things like, oh, my daughter's called Mabel.
It's a gorgeous name.
It does work. I really like the Cornish version of it. The Cornish version of Mabel is MABEL. Great name. But I was like, I can't have 3 names. That's just greedy.
Why not? YOLO. 3 names and a cape.
3 names and a cape. Mabel, 3 names and a cape slattery.
Life is too short. I'm gonna have a wee. I'll be 2 seconds. I will return. I'm gonna mute this time, so you don't have to have a little listen. Or should I bring you with me? Really give you a call.
Oh yes, people in chat want to see cats. When James is back, I will see if that's possible. If anyone else has got cats,
not that I can get right
I have
now.
a cat coaster.
Oh, that's cute. That is adorable.
My mum got them for me for Christmas.
Oh, that's really sweet.
I have an accidental cat this month. That was my highlight of the month.
Accidental one.
A cat. Well, there was like meowing outside. And I was like, oh no, there was like proper yowling, and I was like, oh no, has like a seagull been hurt, or like a baby seagull been hurt, or has a cat been run over? Because I'm on the main road in town. I opened the door and this little cat comes in. I was just like, oh,
This is the best outcome.
Apparently, yeah.
Oh.
But it turns out she was lost, but I couldn't keep her in because she just kept trying to get behind my sink. And
good place to be.
I was like, it's too dangerous. It's too dangerous.
Behind the sink is where it's at.
I was like, it's too dangerous in my flat for
like that
to be here.
Like that 50 Cent song. You can catch me behind the sink if you're into
Oh yeah, that song. You'll catch me behind the sink of dishes is your shit. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, once our iguana got.
You have not missed cat. We are going to get cats shortly when James is back. I don't know if Tom's got any cats nearby, but
I have 4 cats in the house, but these I'm isolating in Rochdale with my pet because I came to my parents to cat sit, and then on the first day of cat sitting, found out I had COVID, and it's been
right. I'm going to go
fun.
now.
It's not a fun place to be by yourself for 10 days. But yeah, there's 4 cats here. But unlike mine, they're outdoor cats, so I don't always see them until like night when I come up to go to bed, and like 3 of them are asleep on my bed, and I've got to navigate around them. Because in fairness, it's their room, not mine. So
you're the visitor.
I am the visitor. It's a very strange feeling. Yes.
I like how like the last page of messages on our Twitch chat is all about cats. There was some really funny ones showing around which I missed. I'm going to go back and go over some of them if I can find them.
If you want to see my cat on Instagram, it's at Betty with the good fur.
Betty with the good fur. That's a great name.
It's a phenomenal name.
Yeah.
I've got pictures of the cats. Oh.
I just went to make myself a cup of tea. I've got my cup of tea, and my roommate was like, "Do you want some rum in your cup of tea?" And I was like, "No." Like, cursing I've ever heard. I was shaken.
Grey the Earthling said, Grey the Earthling said, "Oh shit, Anna does not need energy drinks."
Everyone says, "Yeah, too late now."
Yeah, but you should see her without them.
The same. Okay. A little inside thing as well. So it turns out I have ADHD, found out about a fortnight ago.
No.
That was really mean. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
No one told me. No point.
We just kind of assumed you knew.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
You're not a froggiest.
It's like I've never heard you say I don't have ADHD, so I assumed you just knew you had ADHD.
No, I didn't. I had no clue. Because bear in mind, I'm around myself quite a lot. So I it's only when I'm sort of like.
Yeah, you get used to yourself, because I had the same problem. My mum pointed out I had autism and ADHD first, because I've not yet to be assessed. But my mum is an SEN specialist, and she walked in and pointed at me one day and just went, "You're autistic. I understand now." And I went, "What?" And she goes, "I know. I just thought you were weird."
That's a great way to find out, though. Coming upon you.
Yeah, like, she was like, "I just thought you were an odd kid. I'd never had a kid before. I just thought it was like that, and then the others were normal."
Can I just Grey the Earthling's put a great fucking joke in the chat. ADHD just means you're narrated and high resolution.
Yeah.
James, there's been a lot of talk in the chat about everyone wanting to see cats. Is one of your cats nearby?
He is, but he's asleep. Hang on, I'll give me a minute. He's on the chair. I can move the camera over.
Sweet,
give me a minute.
Yep. I'm sure people will be satisfied by that.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, can hear you, yep.
All right.
That's me.
Oh, that's a cute one.
She's fluffy.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Can't beat the real thing.
Oh, very cute.
Hello. Can you hear us, the cats?
Not meaningfully.
Oh. Tell them hello from me.
And me.
Thomas says hello, Trotsky.
Trotsky.
What a good name.
Great. Yeah. I think that I once had a real chat about cat names with my ex-partner when we were thinking of getting a cat. And the best names we came up with were I'll be fair, I still want a cat called Breakfast. But we figured out that actually composer names are brilliant for cats. Because can you just imagine a really fat cat called Shostakovich?
Oh, but imagine
Williams.
shouting that.
Come here, little Daddy Elfman.
I have a cat that I'm probably adopting when I move. When I move house, and the only problem is that I don't think I can rename her because she already answers to a name, and her name's Tallulah. And I'm like, I'm gonna have a cat called Tallulah.
That's a fancy little bit.
That's really nice.
To be fair, I was considering renaming her as Eleanor of Aquitaine because she is a queen. But like, she's the proper like ragdoll with sassy eyes. Like,
I just like to say it's important because I know that maybe you're talking about adopting a cat. Ours, biologically ours, just so you're aware. That's so everyone's aware. I'm not saying that adoption means that the cat is loved less in some way.
Yeah.
It's important. I'm sure that you will love it just as much as if it were yours.
I just want to point out Sam Lorient's comment. My ex had a cat called Clement Catley.
Very nice.
Great.
Have you seen the comedian Dottie Winters, and all her animals have amazing pun names like Margaret Catwood and her dog Rosa Barks.
I'll be honest. When you started saying your cat was named Margaret, I was worried you were going to go for a different Margaret.
No. No,
you don't want to have to find the name Thatcher cute. Don't.
Yeah, but it would also it would be appropriate because it would also snatch milk.
Yeah.
True.
Yes, it would. Wonderful.
And close down the mines.
Yeah, just shit everywhere with it. Shit everywhere while making direct eye contact with you. Just make a house of life of fucking misery and destroy hope for a generation. If you can do that, by all means, call it Margaret Catcher. Go for it.
Right, we're all back. Shall we carry on? We are 1 minute ahead of schedule. Fucking brilliant.
Oh my!
Amazing. This won't last.
Because we were 10 minutes behind earlier.
Yeah. I think I always allocate more time to this just in than ends up happening. It finishes much quicker. Like I allocated 20 minutes to that round for some reason, and it's over in like 5.
We've lost that minute, Johnny.
Oh shit! No. Our next game is Gammon Fishing. This round involves taking angry tweets, blogs, or quotes from people who are misguidedly angry or passionate about something that they shouldn't be, and changing all the nouns for nouns further up in the dictionary to make the whole thing incomprehensible. And it is our guest's job to translate, interpret, and identify what the person is angry about and who they are. So, Katie, your bastardized quote is, "When I brought my fishing prophylactic going abroad, the EasyJet cognac, gym slip, Netflix ligament didn't exist. I used to walk to work with a sapphire, and on payday I'd go for a placement, and to muck and buy a liquidizer. I'm up in Nottingham right now, and there's a nice freebie homeowner with a long gargoyle on for 320,000. I get enraged when perambulators say they can't afford to buy. They can. Ask yourself, could you get a joggle live at homeowner with your parishes for free yells and save every pensioner for a depression? I've seen perambulators do it. They make enormous saddlers. It's not impossible for everybody."
This is a perfectly normal and reasonable story. Nothing needs changing. No. It makes sense to me. Only the truly wise can understand these news stories.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I do have to say that, and on payday, I'd go for a placement does just sound like an unpaid intern.
Just love them so much. Love working for free. As a comedian, I do love working for free. So,
as someone who lives in Nottingham, I love buying long gargoyles for £320,000.
See, I tried to buy a long gargoyle for £320,000, but I was completely missold because it was a grotesque. I'm sorry.
I gargoyle like 130.
Gargoyles are for draining and grotesques aren't.
Yeah, the gargoyles.
I'm sorry, I had to be really nerdy and medieval at some point on this.
No, Mabel, you had to be correct, and it was the right decision. I respect you more for it, and so does the internet. Okay.
The people at Pendennis Castle don't, though.
Well, I think they'll find that heckling is part of the experience. The rest of the touring group enjoy it, really. That's what they're there for. Right.
When I bought my first property, going aboard the EasyJet, cognac is real.
So, they're all clearly like references to things that, like, the youth of today, they spend too much on consumer items and therefore can't afford,
I know whose tweet this is, and it made me very angry.
Yeah.
This is the Kirsty Allsop one.
This is Kirsty Allsop being.
We've got our bonus point before the end of the round.
You've got your bonus point before your actual point.
So when I bought my first property going abroad, the EasyJet, I don't know about cognac and gym. Probably gym memberships. Netflix subscriptions didn't exist.
It needs to start with L.
Yeah.
So subscription wouldn't.
Gym slip is just gym. There's no membership.
Yeah.
Basically, right.
Gyms didn't exist.
What did you say was?
They did, but there were places where German youths went to learn things.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so have we got cognac? Do you know what cognac
I don't have cognac. Was it Costa?
Not Costa, but very close.
Coffee.
Coffee, yes.
Coffee
didn't exist. Go on, tell the bloody Aztecs. That's African, isn't it? Sorry.
This woman needs a blooming history lesson. And I can't be bothered to give it to her.
Gym,
Netflix.
Ligament.
It's not ligament.
Sorry if this is bringing anything up, Mabel.
It's okay. Netflix.
Liability, license.
Nope.
Bible.
Bible definitely existed.
Netflix libraries? No. Should we come back to that one?
Yeah, come back to that one. It's something even more wanky than anything you've said.
Lizards.
Netflix lizards didn't exist.
I used to work with
a sandwich.
Sandwich, yep.
Yeah.
And on payday, I'd go for
a pint.
A
pint and not go for a pint.
Food and trinkets, right? It's not pint.
Is it pedicure or?
No, it's food and drink is right.
They didn't have prosecco in the 80s when Kirsty Allsop. It's a new invention.
No, it is something even more boring than a pint.
Half a pint, yeah.
No. I didn't see it coming. Not pasty. No, something less cool than that.
Less cool than a pasty. A cold pasty.
I mean, to be fair,
a hot pasty would be less cool.
Yeah, I'm
pie?
less cool. I may be starting a fight with this.
Pepsi.
Nope.
A poke.
A pie. So James said a pie. Is it a pie?
It's not
Is
a pie.
It a porn star martini?
It's not a porn star martini. It is a type of food.
Someone in the chat has said piss. I can't ignore it.
Piss, and that'd be my only one for the whole week.
Let me save it up. The relief when I went weekly rather than monthly.
I might spend a penny. That's a penny away from my house.
Yeah.
Right, come back to
Drink it from a pint glass, save a fortune.
And go to a meal.
No, it's not meal.
Mouth of house.
Museum?
Is it pictures?
It is not pictures. The M is pictures in a way.
Movies,
yes.
Go to a movie and buy a
lipstick.
Lipstick, yes. I'm surprised you got that one. It seemed totally nonsensical.
I think because I remember seeing this tweet, so I think that one came to me.
I've
in a way I'd rather it didn't.
Yeah, I've seen Kirsty Allsop's lips. Lipstick makes perfect sense.
I
have nothing to say about her lips. I don't know. Do you? I assume that you apply it like this in a sort of circular fashion.
Yeah. Very kind of Amazon tribal. Just all
So I'm up in Nottingham right now, and there's a nice 3-bed house with a long garden for 320,000.
That's right. Yep.
I get enraged when people say they can't afford to buy.
Yep, that's right.
Ask yourself: could you get a job, live at home with your parents for 3 years, and 3 for 3?
Oh yes, no, that's sorry. I meant I couldn't live with my parents for 3 years. Sorry.
No, I mean I couldn't either at this stage.
Save every penny for a deposit. I've seen people do it. They make enormous salaries. It's not impossible.
Sacrifices. They make enormous sacrifices.
Sacrifices, yep. So I think it's just cognac and placement you need now.
Yeah.
Right.
No, sorry. Ligament and placement. You already got cognac.
Did we? What was cognac?
Coffee.
Oh, yes, of course.
So the full sentence you've got there. When I bought my first property, going abroad, the EasyJet, coffee, gym, Netflix, ligament didn't exist. So you need to look at what ligament is. No. As a clue, it's not like another tangible thing. It's like an addition to the sentence, so it's not.
Well, is there a word for generation beginning with L?
No.
Luxury.
No, not luxury. No. The L and I is correct.
Is Netflix a clue?
Right.
Does it relate to Netflix, or is it something entirely separate from Netflix?
It's not especially related to Netflix. Lifestyle. Yes, there you go. So
I think that Netflix is part of a lifestyle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
And
on payday, I'd go for A. It's a type of food. You've not said it yet, or if you have, I haven't heard it.
Pakuri.
Pakora. No.
No.
It's too cosmopolitan.
Pizza, yeah.
Hey!
There you are. Okay, full 3 points after lots of clues.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Yep, this is Kirsty Allsop of Location fame, moaning about people not being able to buy property because they're not disciplined enough. Turns out the rich woman who makes her money by showing middle-class people houses out of their budget to try and get them to buy is out of touch with the human condition under capitalism. Tom, let's have a look at your one now. Your quote is... It's really the privatization of unionist what is right and what is wrong for you. And me, as an Ember programming attendant, I've always carefully reviewed, assessed everything that comes in from the surgeon's footplate, the wattle that I droop, anything really that comes into my bolt hole as a fun fair. I understand the conspiracies of my deep, and one of the conspiracies of my deep was not going to Australia, and I was prepared not to go because the privatizations of Deep Mama on my bolt hole are more important than any toe or anything else. I'm trying to be interning with my bolt hole as much as I possibly can.
Oh God, Deep Mama's bolt hole is the worst Martin Lawrence film.
So just to avoid confusion, bolt hole is just one word, but deep and mama are two different words.
Okay.
Just to get it out of the way, is it butthole?
It is not butthole. Hole is not there.
Oh, it's not wattle.
Bolt hole is just one word beginning with B.
Wait, it's bolt.
And you chose bolt hole.
That's not the point.
So bolt hole's one word. Mama, deep mama is two words. Right, I need to write that down. Okay.
Like, I knew what the last one was. I have no idea.
How many bolt holes have you come into as a fun fair, Tom?
A fun fair, none. Outside the fun fair, many. It's really the
piss.
Penis. Similar. Piss. Is it piss?
It's a piss.
It is
piss.
It is not piss.
Oh, so close.
Point.
No, sorry. We are on privatization, aren't we? Yeah. No. Yeah. It's not. I say that piss is also not in any of the rest of the.
What's the point?
There is no piss or penis in this quote. I'm sorry, Tom.
What?
Oh, well, this isn't the blizzard I signed up for.
I
don't have a fucking clue.
Oh, David, have you got?
I've got a little. Yeah, it says was not going to Australia, and Australia is the word that's an actual real word in this.
Australia is a real word. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
glad you're
that stinky old tennis player who thought he was hard.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that without getting his name. That's you're basically spot on.
Thought he was hard.
It's really good.
No fact. Someone's put it in the chat. James has put no fact.
Yeah. That's the one.
I think that's it. Sorry if I didn't say it right.
So
Bitch.
it's really the peel here.
It is not bitch, no.
You could call
really the bit-
him Novak Djokovic. No, Novak Djokovic. Nah, fuck it. No, I can't call him that, so you can't either.
Oh, those are the rules now.
Sorry.
Is privatization principle?
Principle, yeah, principle.
Oh,
First
principle.
word. Right.
Of
Principle of.
Urine.
It
my
is not the principle of urine. It's never the principle of urine.
Oh, next time.
Maybe. I will look for a quote that specifically says principle of urine.
Please. We'll write it for you.
Yeah.
Write it out. What starts with a U? Unicycle.
so it's really
It's
the
not
principle
unicycle.
of
Uniform.
No.
Uncle.
Unionist. Is it unionist?
No to either of them.
And me as an Ember programming attendant is none of it. Oh, I don't like it.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, okay. So you know who it is. So you could probably work out what programming attendance is. He's describing himself.
Me as a, what is he? A tennis player?
Yeah, but what
Professional athlete.
Professional athletes. Yep.
Emerging professional athlete?
No, something much more arrogant.
Elder.
excellent.
No, more arrogant than that.
Exciting.
Nope.
Egg.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, fine. Move on. No.
Me as an excellent elephant. Oh, I'm not good with words, you know.
We're a bad parent.
Yeah, you're really not going to shine in this round. I'm so sorry.
Eminent. I did
No,
feel
not-
that from chat.
Not eminent.
Electric.
No, although it is EL. EL is
Oh.
Elephant. Elegant. Elegant.
no, not elegant.
Epileptic. You can't
No.
spell epileptic.
No, it is not.
Eloquent.
No, not eloquent.
Evil. No. Go with the
As an evil professional athlete, as always.
Elite. Have we said
Elite,
elite?
Also-
yes, elite.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah,
What's wrong with me? Me as an elite professional athlete, I've always reviews that says everything that comes in from the sun.
SU is right, it's not sun. So you might get foot patron wattle first before you get surgeons.
We might not.
Uh,
From the, I don't know that one. Zenith? No, that's
No,
not Australia. That feet. No.
No, not
Fun
feet.
Sorry,
Weeds.
it's fun fair fact.
Hang on. No, it's not.
Everything that comes in from the
Okay.
scientists.
It's not scientists.
Oh,
Try and work out what bolt hole would be, and that might contextualize some of the rest.
Okay.
Bob,
into my
With my
into my bum bum.
beliefs. Nope.
Anything really that comes into my
Bastille.
Ball.
What is? Think about lines that anti-vaxxers usually use against vaccines. What is it they keep repeating this kind of rhetoric about their
Communism.
no. I felt like that was a really
Jewish
obvious thing.
communism?
It is a word that begins with BO. It's 4 letters. What do they?
bone.
No,
It's
not bone.
viral.
Bone.
Bone is a
So-
part of the word. It is, but it's,
Bone. What? Sorry.
But bone is 4 letters.
yeah,
There are other 4 letters.
the word that it is, like the thing it's referring to, does contain bones.
Oh,
Body.
Body, yes, body. So,
Anything that comes into my body as a... Oh, shit. There's another word, isn't there?
that's a kind of wanky term for it. I don't know if you'll get that one. So you can come back to that.
Okay. So we
so
got body
anything
bottles.
body as a fellow. No.
No.
Commitments.
Commitment to. Oh no, it's not. No, I
I
got that wrong then.
It's a
Yeah, you might struggle this one if you want to give up. Just let me know when.
No, you said we were a minute ahead and we're fucking with that.
No, yeah, we're not now. Okay. If you can work out Deep Mama, I will give you the full points.
Deep Mama.
Deep Mama.
Deep Mama are two different words.
Are they two different? Is it D and M? Are we allowed that?
Yes. It is.
It's the M medicine.
No, it's not. But it is DE and MA, although they're longer.
Is it dramatic melancholy?
No.
No, that's what we're experiencing now.
No, I was going to say something horrible.
More horrible than Deep Mama.
Deep Mama on my... So it's on my body.
Yes.
So the Deep Mama on my... I'm not saying that.
I'll be honest, some of the language used here, I mean, it's obviously not a native English speaker, so some of it can't be entirely his fault, but some of it is might be more difficult than Kirsty Allsops to translate. I do apologise.
Detrimental manner.
No. No, you know what? I don't think you're going to get this.
Dancing meme.
That's fine. I mean, I'm still going to give you the 2 points because you got the gist of it and you said who it was.
Johnny, that's more than we deserve. Thank you.
Yeah, you're being very
Also, Anna.
Hello.
I did it for you.
Where is it? Thank you.
What? The Principle of Urine. Oh, amazing.
What's this lovely handwriting as well? I'm getting on a t-shirt. Is
that going to be your first stand-up DVD, Anna? Just the Principle of Urine.
It's been we in for an hour.
It's still going.
I swear I've seen that art installation somewhere.
She won a week on payday, you know.
Right.
Payday, finally.
The full translation of that one is, it's really the principle of understanding what is right and what is wrong for you. And me, as an elite professional athlete, I've always carefully reviewed, assessed everything that comes in from the supplements, food, the water that I drink, anything really that comes into my body as a fuel. I don't think you were going to get fuel.
No.
That's a very wanky way of putting that. I understand the consequences of my decision, and one of the consequences of my decision is going to Australia. Yeah, it's quite a weird way of phrasing that. So I don't think you're going to get that. And I was prepared not to go because the principles of decision making, that's what Deep Mama was, on my body are more important than any title or anything else. I'm trying to be in tune with my body as much as I possibly can. Yes, this is Novak Djokovic explaining why he hasn't had the COVID vaccine and why he prioritizes that over his career. Might as well change his name to Novak Djokovic. Moving on.
Hey!
Definitely not the first person to make that joke. Next up, we have Cancelled. This is the part of the game where we let each of our guests nominate a person, place, thing, or abstract concept for cancellation, and the best argument will see their nomination cancelled forever thanks to our woke left superpowers of simultaneously silencing our opposition whilst they continue to appear on TV, newspapers, and all over the internet to complain that we've silenced their views. Who wants to go first? Who should we start with? Let's start with Tom. You haven't been on the show in a while. Let's start with you. Tom, who are you cancelling this month?
I am cancelling fans of legacy horror franchises. I obviously, as a fan, I don't include myself in that hashtag, not all horror fans. I own horror films. But anyway, right. So my issue is that I love horror. That's unashamed. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 9 just came out on Netflix, and we've just had Scream 5, and both are all right. Scream 5 is actually very good, but the issue that I have with it is that you get all these fans from the past just going, "Oh, well, it's not as good as it was. It's too woke. It's I don't like it." It's like, I don't understand what these people want, because all these woke characters are getting mashed up with fucking chainsaws, and they still just like, too woke. Too woke. You get it with everything. Like we've got Star Trek Discovery at the moment, just like, oh, there's non-binary people on a starship. That's unrealistic. And it's like, if anything, it's less realistic, but it would take 900 fucking years for the representation. Although maybe not. Who knows? bothers me because when something is on, right, if you go and see Fast and Furious 10, you're not going for the fucking quality. You're going because it's familiar and comfortable. Nightmare on Elm Street hasn't been good since Dream Warriors, but I will still watch anything that they put out because it is like receiving a hood from a man with knife for fingers. Sometimes it's all you need. And that's why I am cancelling not all horror fans.
Wonderful. Thanks, Tom. Very, very strongly put there. Thank you very much. Katie, let's have you next. So
Hi.
you get out of the way. Who are you cancelling this month?
I'm cancelling some fellas who came to see my Leicester comedy show, which I realise now isn't perhaps the best marketing strategy what I could come up with. But I went really hard on my marketing for my show, and the people who turned up was my agent and the awards guy, who obviously I immediately knew who it was, but we had a fun time. Except the venue had done a whip round downstairs, and they'd got 4 lads to come up and see it. And it was absurdist character comedy about suicide. It wasn't for them, and that's fair enough. But they heckled for a large amount of the way through and then kind of left one by one, which was fine because the ending is the fun bit. But when they came, like, it was annoying. But when they came back, they had a little whip round because I was like, guys, can you shut up? I paid 70 quid to do this show and no one's come. Can I at least just do it for my own entertainment? And they'd whipped up the 70 quid between them because they're rich cunts. But as delivery of that, I was holding a bucket and he snuck up behind me and tried to put it into my back pocket of my jeans so he could have a little like that.
Gross.
Luckily, well, I think I say luckily, I did catch him and kind of grabbed him by the wrist and was like, "Thank you very much, that's so sweet," and then took it out of the hand and put it in the bucket. But because I put it in the bucket, it was then subject to the venue's 30 or the organisers' 30% fee. So maybe he was trying to do me a favour. I don't know. Maybe he was just, kind of slipping it through the back door in a literal sense.
Yeah.
But probably those guys. This month have been the ones who upset me the most.
They should absolutely be cancelled. Thanks very much for that, Katie, and I'm also so sorry had to deal with that. James, who are you cancelling this month?
I am cancelling anybody who drives an Audi.
Okay.
Audis are universally driven by your parents' worst friend. And I've only recently resumed driving over lockdown. Before that, I'm driven for about 15, 20 years. But I picked it up again. And when I was being taught how to drive in South Manchester, I had a profoundly unhelpful, racist driving instructor who tried to teach me that all black people should be regarded as road hazards because they might just leap out into the road because they're not used to roads. He put it in much more colourful terms than that, which I will not explain in detail. The updated woke version of that advice is to regard everybody who is behind the wheel of an Audi as a road hazard. If you see an Audi, you must immediately be aware that they will do the most selfish thing available at any given time. If you are waiting at a T-junction and they are looking to turn right, whereas you are looking to turn left, they will just sip out straight into traffic, into oncoming traffic, in order to cut you up. Everybody who drives an Audi should be shot up the rectum in front of their families. I don't think any further explanation is required.
No, I don't think it is. I think you've made your point very well. Sam has just said, I've realised my mum is the worst friend.
If you don't think your parents have got a worst friend, it is your parents, isn't it?
Brilliant. Wonderful. Thanks for that. Okay, David, who are you cancelling this month?
I'm cancelling flooding. Water getting out of control. Whoa! I've never been flooded myself, but it looks bloody awful. No thank you, brown water everywhere. Yuck. Water, get out of that house. You shouldn't be there. I like a little bit of water in my house out of a tap, washing my hands, that's nice, but creeping under a front door, no. It makes cars look sad in the street. please don't open my door. I won't, because your foot will become a well. Stay where you are, water, for heaven's sake. Rivers are supposed to go one way, not to the side and out. I don't want a wet living room and hate being soggy. And have you ever had to put a coat on after it's been raining and then it's still wet from the time before? Like, imagine if that was your house.
Oh.
Why,
Oh, we got some.
why did we put the plug sockets down there? I don't have to buy a sandbag. And so with all this global warming, it sounds like flooding is going to happen more and more, flooding in. So floody hell, let's cancel floods.
Yeah, that's cancel flood. Hot take from David Stanier here. Flooding is bad. Love it. Okay, wonderful. Mabel, who are you cancelling this month?
I am cancelling it's a very late contender, but I am cancelling the bus driver today that while I was on the bus on the way in to Falmouth to go to the bank, the bus got stuck next to a school, next to a primary school, because there was people parked on both sides of the road and they couldn't get through the gap. So I went up to the bus driver and said, I'll tell you what, how I sometimes work at that school. So I'll tell you what, I can go in and ask if it's any of the teachers or teaching assistants that have parked there, or if it's someone who's come for like lunch shift and things like that. And the bus driver was like, all right, would you do that? Thanks. And I went in, asked about it, and then I came out and the bus had left without me.
Oh.
And this is while I have a sparkly purple walking stick that is not very difficult to miss, and also left me on one of the steepest hills in the whole town. And that is saying something, because it is a hilly place, and I had to walk all the way down this hill, which it was really painful, into town, and it was driving rain and it was bloody horrible. So I would like to cancel him, and
I understand. Yeah.
I would like him to drive. I would like him to drive into a mine shaft.
Absolutely. I was convinced you were going to say and it was flooded at the end.
It wasn't quite flooded, but
No.
I think a little bit more rain, and it could have
It might have been. Yeah, fucking floods. Right, Anna. Finally, who are you cancelling this month?
I've googled the thing that I was going to cancel, and I don't know if I should cancel it anymore, because all my arguments have gone out the window. So, but I'm committed. So, what I think should be cancelled, after hearing all of yours, also I'm wimping out on this, but I'm doing it. I'm committed. The car in the Flintstones. Where's my camera? So. Maybe what I should cancel is my memory of the car of the Flintstone. So I thought they didn't have wheels, and I thought they were just carrying the car. And I was like, well, like carrying this like box. And I was thinking, well, why don't you just run? What's the point of carrying that thing? This is not easy. What is the bloody point? But then I've googled it, and it turns out they do have wheels. But. I was thinking, why don't they just make if they're gonna, so in the house, innit, they've got dinosaurs that they do to like wash their dishes and stuff, which I don't know, I hope they've got a union. But like, but I'm thinking, like, why don't they make like a dinosaur sleigh or something? To be fair, I'm watching the world, so maybe they do have one of them as well. But like, what's it called? I was thinking, why don't they do that? Why are they running and carrying this thing? But yeah, they're not. They've got wheels, so.
Can I give a vote? Oh, sorry. Can I give a vote to Anna, because I've just had the thought of fucking hell, the dinosaurs and the Flintstones probably have better workers' rights than Amazon workers.
Yeah, they got to eat. They got to be garbage disposal. They got to eat all the leftovers. Catch an Amazon worker being allowed to eat cardboard? No.
They've tried.
Get hungry in there.
Exactly. Although, right, with these, try going uphill with her, but then try going uphill in the car. Very hard also. So, I don't know. I still don't know what. So I passed my test very recently, and I'm not. Am I like DVLA? If you're watching, click off, or whoever takes licenses of people. My mum, I don't know. If you're watching, click off. Yeah, but what gear are you meant to go in when you go uphill? Anyway, I'll ask her later. Sorry. So, yeah. Flintstone's car.
Flintstone's car. Thanks very much, Anna. Wonderful. Okay, I have picked my 3 favorites from then, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up to the Twitch chat to vote on. I would let you vote on all 6 of them, but we're only allowed 5. I can only put 5 different things into the poll.
And that would just be mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Flintstone's car. I won't take offense. I heard myself as well, so don't worry.
No, yeah. I mean, I do well. We'd cancel all of them, but we only have so many cancelling resources. So, yeah, I've picked my top 3, and then whoever wins the votes are going to be getting the most points. And also, many of you are just in the Twitch chat, so you could easily rig this vote. But yeah, the Twitch poll is open now. You can cancel Katie's hecklers, Aldi drivers, or flooding. And that will be open for 10 minutes, so we're going to have another break before we announce the final scores for that. Once again, if you are enjoying the show, you can support us by donating to our PayPal, Patreon, subscribing to us on Twitch, or also buying some merch from our big cartel. I'm going to put the links in the chat now. And I meant to mention this earlier as well. All of the money that comes into the PayPal for the next week will be split amongst the acts you've seen here tonight. We're not taking a cut of that at all. Patron money we will be taking a cut of, but a portion of that will also be going towards the acts. So yeah, if you've been enjoying the show and would like to throw some money towards us, all of our events are pay what you want. That would be wonderful. And if you don't want to,
so poor and hilarious.
Yeah, we are poor and hilarious.
That's a name for an hour.
So many good shows there. Anyway, yeah, we're gonna have another break now. So let's chat some shit with you.
Well, David, can I just say that your line of like flooding makes cars look sad in the street. I'm still giggling about it. It's really funny. I just loved it.
I'm going to be.
I'll be met for redeemed hydrate, and I only have beer on me. I'm so sorry. So this.
Oh yeah, but no, the main ingredient's water. You're fine.
It is at least a quarter of the pint.
I mean, like aren't people like 80% water or something? So if you just
which is why I eat people to hydrate.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be good enough to get some water. So back in a moment.
Yeah, I am going to walk around the house because I've been sat down for too long on my knees of water. So
to clarify, I'm also going to get another beer. Don't worry.
Yeah, back in the day, people used to drink beer instead of water. It's fine.
God, imagine.
I'm sorry. Right, sorry. I'll be 1 minute. Recovering alcoholic here. No, it's not. Don't spread that.
Oh.
Do I go for another wee?
I'm going to.
Anna, I'm going to. Just let's make it interesting. I'll race you. Ready?
Oh.
All right, who wants to place bet?
Oh.
I feel like Anna will go for a wee, get distracted. She won't be back a while.
I don't know, she's got the energy though.
True.
She's got the energy, and I think James Ross has got a bigger house. I'm basing that off literally nothing.
Well, that fancy curtain.
Hello.
Oh,
One of the 4 cats.
God, I want a cat so badly.
I just heard you say hello in a cat voice. I thought it was because I came back, and I'm really disappointed it was actually a cat.
It's because you came back. Hello, Johnny.
That's good.
Hello, he is.
Oh, look at Johnny.
Oh yeah, hydrate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wash my hands, I promise. Although the more I say that, that sounds too defensive. I promise I did though.
They're in the West.
That's what they say.
I mean, it's your house and your computer. You cannot wash your hands all your life.
No, I did. But the more defensive I sound, the more sound I haven't. I promise.
Bobby Jones 55. I really enjoy that you've put sunglasses on the Blizzard logo. That's amazing. I love that.
Right, my time to go for a pee.
Yeah, have a good pee.
Oh my god, are you going to get both Anna and a Mabel in this time for one James?
No, probably not.
My one is bladder. Fair play to him.
Katie is running away with this one. There's still some time
Oh
to vote.
no. That's the thing about, like, it was just the people who I was like, who can I cancel?
Who am I mad at? Yeah.
Because it's been a weird February, but that's the only one where, like, people have been bad. But
yeah.
obviously, like, I feel like, oh, something kind of misogynistic happened to me. I feel like I'm cheating almost. Like, oh, this is quite bad. Everyone's going to feel bad for me. It's fine. I got £70. I didn't. I got £50 because I had to pay the 30% ish.
£50 is something.
Yeah. I spent it all on some perfume.
Bobby Jones 55 said you are all very attractive. Correct.
But I know that Bobby Jones is very attractive herself.
Bobby's a bib.
Checkmate,
Right?
Bobby Jones.
Yeah.
It's a brief Bobby Jones related plug. Bobby Jones is doing her competition spot at the Quantum Leopard on the 12th of March, our 7th birthday show.
Yes.
So if you want to see
I
Bobby
really love
Jones,
that I cannot make that. I'm going to subscribe to Patreon so I can watch it, though.
do
All the
it.
best,
Yeah.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gonna be exciting. Good show.
I hope you beat them up, Katie. Did you beat up the hecklers, Katie?
No, I what did I do after that? I think I went to go see Paul Foot.
Ah,
I kind of maybe spiritually beat them.
spiritually beat them up. Get Paul Foot to beat them up.
They took psychic damage.
I would pay to see Paul Foot beat anyone up.
Yeah. I
We have a whip round.
Yeah, I did preview support for him a couple times with group therapy when that was still a thing. Yeah, he's definitely one of those people who's, I mean, certainly just before a gig is basically exactly as he is on stage. It seems exhausting. Yeah.
I wrote about him when I was at uni, and then Andrew fucking O'Neill told Paul Foot that I'd written about him at uni, and he wants to read the essays, and I live in fear of Paul Foot realising that I am the one what wrote the essays and wanting to read them.
Well,
I mean, they're very complimentary. But
I had my creative dissertation for my bachelor's was oh, it sounds so wanky. It was a mini epic because we had to do a creative one because it was creative writing, and then we had to do an academic one like this proper English. And I did a mini epic poem about Daniel Kitson.
oh,
And then my friend Daniel actually like made me take it with him and give it to him after a show, and he was like, "How many of the percent can I get for this?" And we just had like a 10-minute chat about speech therapy. It was lovely. Just like, speech therapy sucks, doesn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
I wasn't long out of speech therapy at the time, so I was just like, you know, admittedly, my speech therapist lovely, and I'm still in touch with her, and she's great. But the speech therapy in itself can like it's useful,
fun.
but it's useful, but it can fuck off.
You know, I used to want to be a speech therapist. How terrifying would that be? Fucking useless.
The worst bit about speech therapy is actually like the bit before you go in, because mostly speech therapy is for children, so they lump like children and adult speech therapy together, and you have to give your name when you go in to the receptionist so they know you're there. And like if you stammer and like your name is like the scariest thing to say. But also you're sat there with a load of like children's toys and stuff in this like children-y waiting area with lots of toys and everything. You're sat there like, I can't play with any of this. But it's also you're under just to fuel your embarrassment a little bit more. It was like in this particular health centre, everything was under these massive signs. So you're just under this enormous sign that says speech therapy, and you're the only person sitting there. It's like, oh, because I can't talk now.
Why can't you play with the toys?
I was the only one there, and I was like, I
Then you get all the toys, free reign.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that is true.
You don't have to share, and I know that, and that can't be an issue.
But they were the boring ones that you get in like doctors' surgeries, where it's just like the balls on little steel tracks.
Silly straw abacuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought you'd interpreted outdated copies of Hello magazine as toys, and I'm like,
No.
just making a magazine.
No, I used to work in a hairdresser's salon. I'm used to outdated magazines. We used to collect them, but like you get the weirdest selection of stuff because the village that I'm from is like it's loads of old people, but it also used to be like the swingers capital of the UK. I know I didn't learn this till I was much older, and then was like, oh, that explains so bloody much. But yeah, it's a place that was in the news a couple of years ago for having had a brothel in it that got shut down. Which is the second time that something like that has happened, but the first time that it happened near me was because my grandpa had accidentally owned a brothel for a bit.
Like slipped and fell and
No, like if you know my grandpa, he's like I think my grandpa would be like if you weren't married, I don't think he'd see like the point in anything like that ever, because he's just like, I don't bloody understand what the like. My gran was really paranoid that my grandpa had an affair at one stage, and my grandpa was like, what the bloody hell do I want an affair for? There's too many bloody women around me as it is. Too many, it's just adding more expense, isn't it? Like, what do you but yeah, he was renting out a house, and he because he's he'd go in, completely gut these places, rebuild them, and then rent them, and he'd and he had
prostitutes.
Well, he had this one woman stay, and she was like, oh I'm very happy to have the like second bedroom because my daughters come to stay occasionally, and it turned out they were not her daughters. And apparently he had someone ring up and say, I just want you to know that the house that you're renting is being used for immoral purposes. And my grandpa said, well, they pay the rent, don't they?
Logic.
I know. They pay the rent and they're living quiet and the house is looking lovely. I don't see the problem.
I'm very on the side of your granddad, but I do kind of take the view that sex is a bit like going to the cinema, and it's a lovely way to spend the evening with the right person, but generally it's too noisy and sticky.
Yeah, my sister set me up a Hinge profile a little while ago, and now and I was like, I think I do need to put that I'm grey ace on this profile, because I just can't. And my sister was like, don't put it, just explain it later. And I was like, but do you know how hard it is to explain it when they could just Google?
No, you get a certain grace period.
Yeah. But like, oh man, it was just the only thing I found out is like that you definitely get like less people messaging you if you put like your grey ace, but also that like most men seem to think that like cooking a steak is the highest talent. Like I've seen like 8 profiles and they're like, describe an unusual skill, and it's like, I can cook a steak. It's like
cooking a steak is not a rare skill. Uncooking a steak.
The thing is, like, some people will say that cooking a steak is a rare skill, but I actually prefer like a medium to well done skill.
I mean, in general, you should be quite upfront about like who you are on a dating profile, and because if the thing is, anybody that's going to put off is the kind of person you don't want to be going out with anyway.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean,
I know, but like, oh man, some of them. There was one that was just like it was a thing that was basically like in one sentence they'd managed like to lay out more red flags than a Soviet bunting factory. It was like it was all that I ask was the prompt. And that's the prompt. So it's like all that I ask is, and he'd written that you don't dig into my past.
wow.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. I was considering just like messaging and getting a meetup just so I could go in like Columbo.
There we go.
Like, do the whole date and then just go, oh, and just one more thing and then pull up photos. And what do you call this?
I won't dig into your past, but I will dig onto your patio.
Yeah, like there was another one that was really similar, and then you looked and it was like, to move on with my life and get to some normalcy, I've made lots of mistakes in my life. And then you scrolled down, which didn't sound too bad, and then you scrolled down and found out he was from America, and it's like, no, you've crossed an ocean and want to leave your life behind. This is a problem.
I mean, that's an option.
Exactly.
It is. Right, we have had the votes in. So at the end of that round, Katie won that one. So, Katie's team on 28 points, Tom's team are on 21, moving into the last couple of rounds. Our next round is Debate Me Out, a twist on our usual debate format, as there doesn't appear to be anything newsworthy worth debating currently. And as it was recently Valentine's Day, thought I'd do a special Valentine's edition, where instead of debating news and politics, our case will be winning my hand in marriage through facts and logic. Winner is whoever marries me first. And today we are joined by Katie, who is Cressida Dick, Tom, who is Joe Rogan, David, who is Mark Zuckerberg.
Poke.
Give that man a point immediately.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Sorry, I don't want to backseat drive your show, but that was very enjoyable. All right, sorry.
Anna, who is Queen Elizabeth II, James is Vladimir Putin, and Mabel is Kirsty Allsop. So thank you all very much for joining. I know you're all really excited to get down and dirty with me, but I might like a bit of romance first. So just to get to know you all first, I want to ask you to describe yourself in 3 words, just to kind of start it off, and then I'll move on to some more open questions from there. So we'll start with Cressida Dick. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Stop and search.
I can work with that. Okay. Joe, describe yourself in 3 words.
Didlet's unseen body.
Oh, fuck. No, yeah, you're right. Does my curiosity outweigh my inherent disgust? I'll come back to that. Mark Zuckerberg, describe yourself in 3 words.
Internet friendship maker.
Well, I do like 2 of those things. Okay. Vladimir, describe yourself in 3 words.
Secretly very rich.
Secretly, well, I do enjoy eating the rich. So we'll...
Wow.
No, that's too far even for me. Kirsty, describe yourself in 3 words.
I'm sorry, can somebody watching on Twitch just clip that, please?
and then replay it forever.
Just every time Johnny comes on at Blizzard, he's just like, remember that time Johnny implied he'd eat Vladimir Putin?
I may clip it myself, we'll see. Kirsty Allsop, describe yourself in 3 words.
Location.
I don't know what it says about me that I genuinely didn't see that joke coming. Yeah. Oh, I'm a terrible comedian. And Queen Elizabeth II, describe yourself in 3 words.
Hello. Right, sorry, English. Right, okay. Shaky. Try English. Cheeky little meeks. No.
Sorry, can I request that the Queen is super Welsh?
Yeah, your Queen voice sounds a lot like your Donald Trump voice from last year. Okay, well,
Never in the same room.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's give me a chance to get to know you. So just kind of open questions to the panel. In fact, no, yeah, let's start with the Queen. Queen, what does your dream life look like?
I'm pretty much living it right now, baby.
Oh, already there. Does that not get does that not get kind of disappointing? You know, like you're already at the peak, nowhere else to go. I mean, you're only what, like 95? There's plenty of years to. Surely you have more dreams.
Have you ever seen me smile? I mean, I've reached that peak and it's downhill from here.
Okay, fair enough. Not particularly confident about our future together, but you are very rich and nearly dead, so we'll see. And recently widowed.
You heard it here first. Johnny Collins is aroused by emotional vulnerability.
And rich oligarchs.
Oh, wonderful.
And widows. We're finding out a lot about Johnny.
Yeah, right, let's move into Mark Zuckerberg. What does your dream life look like?
If I'm looking at my dream life, I'm looking at it through a pair of VR goggles. I'm looking at all the avatars of my friends and their friends and all the friendship and their friends and all the information about the friendships.
I feel like you're dropping subtle "let's just be friends" here, Mark. I'm gonna be honest with you there.
What?
Yeah, not too sold on that. Joe, what does your dream life look like?
My dream life is very much the one that I have right now, but there are no consequences for my words.
That's a solid dream. Yeah, no, fair enough. I can certainly see the benefits of that. I'm not entirely sold on how you'd use that, but I can certainly see where you're coming from. Badly. Well, I do like a bad boy. Kirsty, what does your dream life look like?
I'll be honest. I think I've managed to achieve my dream life rather well. I mean, it's I plenty of time for crafts. And really just living as, you know, one of you normal people is just such a thrill.
You want to live like the common people.
I want to see what the common people see.
Wonderful, admirable, like it. Vladimir, what does your dream life look like?
Let me paint you a picture with my words, Colin. I am topless on horse. You are behind me, topless on horse. Your arms
same horse, different horse?
Depends how intimate horses are. Let's just see how night progresses. Your hands wrapped around my rippling masculine torso. There is slight droop, not great droop, but enough to make you feel comforted and secure. And we are on step. We see the sign, "Welcome to Russia," mind the step. And that is not strictly accurate. It does not have the word "the" in it. There are no articles in Russian languages, or indeed most like just a Proto-Slavic language family. So we are on horse. And sun is beginning to set over the tiger. Taiga. And I have gone, and you have gone. And we are hunting our fellow men for sport.
I would like to formally request that someone draws this fan fiction and then burns it so no one can ever see it.
We've seen it and you know it.
Tom, get Rob on it immediately.
Crested, what is your dream life?
I had my dream life before I was rudely fired because I refused to take accountability, but I would like it even more. I'm the head of the Met Police. I've got the biggest office. I've got Sadiq Khan as a personal butler / footstool. I've got as much money as I want. I can go anywhere. I've got a big car and it's nice, and I don't have that anymore. I'm trying to think about what my life could be after the Met Police. Maybe I will go and live in Cornwall, have bees.
That does sound really pleasant, but I'm going to be honest, I'm slightly more aroused by Putin, which I've never thought I'd say out loud.
Clip it.
We did.
As Savvy Mr. Sony says, Putin is winning this, in my opinion. I don't like saying this. No, yeah, it's nice to be winning something. Okay. Okay, next question. What's your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs? Let us start with... Let's go back to question. Nick, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
Oh, fuck. What? Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes,
I was altering my jokes.
That's fine. We can come back to you if you need more time to think about it.
No, it's fine. Yeah, can we come back to it?
Yeah, no worries.
I can
Okay,
refresh.
let's
Sorry.
go with... No, that's fine. Let's go with Kirsty. Kirsty, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
I think my biggest turn on is certainly being excessively trampled on by my husband at home, because obviously, as I am very well known for saying, my husband is always right in matters of anything, and I think being told exactly what to do, but knowing that really my opinions are exactly right is and I have the right to foist them upon others is certainly an enormous turn on for me. Turn offs, pokey kitchens. Really, what you need to do in that scenario to increase the value of your house is make some very small changes that completely alter the fabric of the house and cost thousands. And then really you've got an incredibly simple way to raise the value of your house without even really, worrying about it.
I'm glad you've got such an insight into this kind of things, although I've never been so bored hearing someone describe their turn-ons before.
I think that's a...
No, yeah, I definitely have. I have spoken to it.
That's part of my extreme appeal. I'm incredibly dull, but I am the daughter of a baron. So everyone feels they have to listen to me.
True, but we do also have the literal queen here, so where are my options? Let's go to the queen. Queen, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
Turn-ons! I'm sticking with the accent. I've committed now. Turn-ons, corgis, turn-offs, no corgis!
Imagine if that was your only turn-off, no corgis.
Not enough corgis in this room.
Don't take away the corgis.
Release the corgis. The flock of them.
And that's what I should say as well.
You could get with being a Catherine.
I should say at this point, if anyone in the Twitch chat does have any questions that they want me to ask any of the people, please do feel free to put them in. I will ask them. Mark Zuckerberg, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
Biggest turn-on would be friendship requests, receiving them, sending them, accepting them, denying them. That gets a like. Love. Haha. Turn-offs are the U.S. Senate asking me stupid questions about tech. They don't even know what they're talking about. That angry.
Concise, like it. Joe Rogan, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
I would say that my biggest turn-off at the moment is Neil Young. But my biggest turn-ons is the music of Neil Young, with songs such as Under the Bridge and Can't Stop and Californication and Down in California, the Zephyr song. Love me some Neil Young.
Sure. Okay. Yep.
Smashed it. Would give it away.
Who else? Vladimir, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
Well, I control directly or indirectly 10% of world's global oil reserves. So lube and turn offs, having my assets frozen.
No ice play, got it. Okay, and Cressida, what are your biggest turn-ons and turn-offs?
My biggest turn-offs would be accountability, open mouth chewing, boundaries of any kind, other police, obeying the law, enforcing the law correctly, and like long fingernails. It just squicks me out. Turn-ons include all the cash, donate all the cash, donate to Blizzard's PayPal in the description. You'll get all of the money.
Oh, that last bit shouldn't see the point for that section. Good job. Someone has asked a question in the chat, which is kind of another wording of one I was going to ask anyway, so I'll move on to that next. Where would you take me for your honeymoon? Let us start with Mark Zuckerberg. Where would you take me for your honeymoon? Our honeymoon, not your honeymoon. Freudian
Well.
step there.
I would look into your profile, analyze your data, conform the algorithm, and define where you would most like to go on your honeymoon. And you would most like to go on your honeymoon to Pizza Hut. I can't wait to go.
There are worse places, I guess. It's not. I've been advertised weirder things. Fair enough. Okay. Kirsty, where would you take me on your honeymoon?
I mean, I'd just really anywhere abroad, because it didn't really exist in my day. Maybe we could try this thing called coffee. I hear it's quite something, and it seems to be what all the kids are spending their money on.
Oh fuck. I like it. Thanks, Kirsty. It'd be nice to try something more modern. Queen, where would you take us on our honeymoon?
So we would go on a walk to a pond, and we would have it would be lovely, hand in hand, sunset. And I'll let you kick a swan.
Oh, that's pretty tempting. Kicking us on. Okay, I'm gonna have to think about this. Thanks for that. Joe, where would you take me on our honeymoon?
I would do a honeymoon in one night because I'm a busy man. But we would go to an MMA fight, the birthplace of romance, and then to get all loved up with each other, take a shit ton of DMT, or as I like to call it, Dimitri, and then we would go to a Joni Mitchell concert and make love to my favourite song of hers, Skater Boy.
I like it. Thanks very much, Joe. Cressida, where would you take me on our honeymoon?
Oh, the place I'd like to go most in the world is my old office, but that's not happening anytime soon. So I think we would probably go to one of the areas of London which we target the most, maybe Brixton, because there's lots of police officers around there. But you know, they will turn a blind eye if I ask them to, and we could just do whatever the fuck we wanted, and no one could stop us. No one could get in our way. And I think that would be quite romantic, don't you?
That does sound really romantic. I like the thought of abusing police power for sexual kicks. I like it. Thanks. And Vladimir, where would you take me on our honeymoon?
Before we go on, may I say to Miss Dick that I feel we have a great deal in common. If you are at loose end at the end of proceedings here, I would like to offer you a job. We have shared interests such as extrajudicial killings, and I don't think you should let anybody tell you, a girl boss, what to do. I think. I know it came as a surprise to me as well, but you know, let no one tell you what not to do. You know, people told me that I could not have people shot, killed, or poisoned, and I went ahead and had them shot, killed, or poisoned. And I think there is much to learn from my example. So, Collins, where would I take you for our honeymoon? Now, you know that in Russia we have great tradition. We have our homes in the city, our great palaces, but we also appreciate the simple life in our dashes by the Black Sea. So we go south in Russia, we go through the fields, we meet the peasants, we meet the mujiks with their large beards, we listen to their wisdom. And then we retire and we drink vodka and eat zakuski and pickled slices of thing. And I gradually take a slice of pickled cucumber. Maybe I lean over and sup it directly from your erect nipple. Maybe then we move to small pepper items, who is to say. So I would take you to my dasha in Knightsbridge.
Oh, these are all been very good.
Proceed to leave again.
She lost confidence of Mayor of Channel. She had to leave.
I have spoiled for choice. Okay, well, over on eBay, so I've got a couple more questions. First of all, what is your most embarrassing secret? And we'll start with Kirsty Alsop. Kirsty, what is your most embarrassing secret?
I bought all my Christmas decorations this year from Marks and Spencer.
Okay, wow. Well, I'm glad we got this out in the open before I'd committed. Fuck. Okay, Queen Elizabeth II, what is your most embarrassing secret?
I don't know the national anthem.
That's fine, me neither.
You've never had to sing it, to be fair.
God save me.
Joe Rogan, what is your most embarrassing secret?
I don't actually know any songs by Neil Young or Joni Mitchell. I've just kind of it this entire time.
No, I feel betrayed. Okay, well, Chris Dick, what is your most embarrassing secret? What was that? Sorry?
I'm just reading the pre-version of the Sue Gray report. Sorry, this might be the only bit of the show I've written for, and clearly maybe I'm more suited to improvisation. My most embarrassing secret is all in the Sue Gray report. You're going to hear about it at some point. It's really embarrassing. Just wait for that. You can have all your fun about it then. I'm sure I'll be on one of the rounds on there. If you want to know my most embarrassing secret, I'll tell you on the night of our honeymoon, and then we can have the marriage annulled if need be. But
thank you for your honesty. I appreciate it. Okay, well, I suppose an ongoing police investigation, you can't say anything about it.
No, legally I can't, and I would never disobey the law.
Clever. Mark Zuckerberg, we've not had you yet, have we? What question was I asking? Oh yeah, what's your most embarrassing secret?
Well, I hate to say it, but sometimes the information that you might submit might be used for other purposes. And I'm very sorry, but you agreed to it. It's in the terms and conditions.
Not my information. In 2015, I made a very explicit Facebook status.
I know you did.
Okay, Vladimir, what is your most embarrassing secret?
I have tattoo on the lower back that is a Chinese word for live, laugh, love.
Oh, looking forward to seeing that. Right. Okay. Last question. And this is for everyone. So I'm going to do shag, marry, kill, but with three of the guest characters in this round. Just yes, all of them.
All of them. The only question is the order. So please continue. Sorry.
That's fine. Okay. So, question 6: shag, marry, kill, three of the other guest characters in this round.
Well, after earlier, I feel like I could definitely have a whirlwind affair and shag Vladimir Putin. It could be quite spicy, but also I do know better than to marry him because I feel like I would get KGB'd quite quickly if I try and accumulate power like that. But I'm just going to have expensive gifts and then run away when it's no longer convenient. I would marry Mark Zuckerberg because I don't have a job right now and I want the money. And also, like, do you remember when like Cambridge Analytica and all that stuff happened and then like nothing was really changed? You're welcome, Mark. And then kill, because I did consider marrying Elizabeth for her money, but I know how hard it is lying to the Queen, and I don't think I could sustain a lie for that long.
Fab, yeah, it is difficult to sustain a lie for 2 weeks. If she actually dies in 2 weeks, I'm going to feel terrible for about a minute. Okay, Vladimir, shag, marry, kill 3 other people on this panel.
I would make love to wonderful girl boss Cressida Dick, paragon of womanhood and extrajudicial killings. I would marry Mark Zuckerberg, owner of a great empire of global misinformation. I, too, great interest. Also, he looks an awful lot like H.P. Lovecraft. Again, part of the great canon of Russian literature. And kill all the rest of you. You are nothing to me. You are specks of dust in my way. I bat you aside with soft glove.
Kinky, love it. Kirsty, shag, marry, kill 3 other people on this panel.
I would certainly, I think, as with everyone else, I would certainly go for a saucy evening with Vladimir Putin. I think just the image of being behind him on that horse inspires feelings in me I've not felt since I last saw an open plan kitchen. Indeed, I feel very much like an open plan kitchen when I look at him. But I would marry Joe Rogan because I feel that he can give me the life of crushing misogyny. I so
Right there, baby cakes.
Desperately crave. Oh, you're everything a man should be. And I would kill the Queen and everyone in line to the throne before me.
Solid.
Queen, and I would knock through walls in the palace, and I would greatly increase its value. Because really, can't we all afford a palace if we just give up our Netflix subscriptions and this lifestyle that really...
Yeah,
I mean, like, how much is a palace?
Is missing an open plan kitchen.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Kirsty. Queen Elizabeth II, shag, marry, kill 3 people on this panel.
I would marry no one, been there, done that. Shag everyone and then kill. Single ladies.
Oh, perfect. Mark Zuckerberg, shag, marry, kill 3 people on this panel.
By shag, do you mean sex? No, thank you. Kill. I would kill Queen Elizabeth II, as she does not have a Facebook account. And I would shag Joe Rogan with his big, thick python neck. Was a passion, I'd ask him to ask his friends to join Facebook in the metaverse today.
Oh, fab. And Joe Rogan, shag, marry, kill.
Oh, I would shag you, Johnny, because I was under the impression that was the name of the game.
No, marrying me was the name of the game. Were you just planning on using me?
I I would shag Johnny. I'm sticking with that answer. I would marry Mark Zuckerberg because it's important to spend your life with someone who already knows everything about you. And I would kill anyone who dared to challenge me in hand-to-hand combat.
Wonderful. Okay, well, I think after that, it's going to be a tough decision, but I think I'm gonna have to go with Vladimir just because I think the thrills will overweigh all of my moral misgivings about what he's willing to offer me. But I'm gonna put the Queen in second place because I really admire her balls.
If you're wondering what it is like, to kiss Queen, Johnny, simply lick wrong side of stem.
Also, they're called orbs, Johnny. They go with the scepter.
And I'm also going to give bonus points to David and Mabel, partly because of the location joke. And yeah, that was the most harrowingly realistic Mark Zuckerberg I've ever seen.
It really was. I was terrified. You really got the deadness of the eyes.
That is. Like Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse character looks more real than Mark Zuckerberg.
It does. So at the end of that round, Katie's team are on 36 points and Tom's team are on 25. But all to play for in the last round, which is things, wouldn't it be funny if these things happened? Also known as how can we get 107 more jokes into the last 5 minutes of the show? I'll be giving teams 4 scenarios for them to riff on. Points go to the funniest and, frankly, just my whim and my own biased preferences. So our first category is things we didn't see at the Super Bowl.
Hockey.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
A sufficiently superb owl.
The resurrection of Tupac Shakur. They tried, but they just summoned 50 Cent.
And now your
halftime
show. Please welcome Lost Prophet. What were you going to say, Tom?
Not anything that bad. I will leave it.
We didn't see the side fight, which was actual rams versus Bengal cats. Although apparently that got quite messy.
Not right. Shirts versus gyms. Put your jumpers down for goalposts.
The pitch invasion by egg rights activists because the ball is like an egg.
No wardrobe malfunction. Eminem has revealed Dr. Dre's nipple ring.
And now the rap breakdown verse of the national anthem.
Fair play and decency, because it's not like it was in my day.
I know, love.
One of the players accidentally put his shoulder pads on his hips and distracted the rest of the players because he looked like he was dummy thick.
Anyone who actually deserved to go to university on academic premise.
Not one of the players unhinged their jaw and ate the ball. What a shame.
It's the one thing the game's missing.
Yeah. Might stop watching it.
That should be the prize, shouldn't it? Like the winning side gets to eat the thing that you're playing with. You can do that with hockey. You can do that with basketball. Yes.
The one with the moth. That one.
Curling. Yeah.
That's it.
A big stone lump in the middle. Yeah. Mountain climbing. Yeah. Any of these things. Great. More of that.
About time.
It's also wrestling.
And any more for that one?
The LA Rams new quarterback, Big Benjamin. He's 4 years old. He's the biggest toddler in the world.
Things we didn't see at the Super Bowl. Any concern at all for like the consistent problem of head injuries?
I was about to say that.
Wear helmets.
Yeah, they still get concussions all of the time, though.
Oh.
Yes, what's it called? The brain damage dementia is like a huge thing in professional football.
Thumbs about it.
Waka waka.
I know.
Okay, next category: things you wouldn't get in an MCU movie.
Batman.
Sorry, what does MCU stand for?
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I am going to be at a disadvantage in this round. Okay, go.
We didn't see. We wouldn't get Kingpin getting actually defeated by his greatest, by his one true weakness, which is a giant bowling ball.
Dennis the Menace versus Roger the Dodger.
At no point does Daredevil jump over 17 cars.
Oh, that's one thing we won't get in an MCU movie, which is a moment where I don't want Charlie Cox to kiss me.
Daredevil versus his nemesis, Cautious Angel.
I love Good Omens.
Doctor Strange takes them to a dimension of reality where it is the bum dimension, and everything is made of bums. Your mum and dad are made of bums. Oh, say something.
That line where Peter Parker says, "Doctor Strange," that's what Uncle Ben told his affair.
We didn't see Spider-Man's crochet phase. Beautiful blankets, but they were all white.
We didn't see Spider-Man exuding web from the place where anatomically it should be exuded from.
You wouldn't see a queer character beyond the use of the pronoun he.
Not once does Spider-Man need to fly.
No.
Not watched it. Who knows?
Oh, Spider-Man getting trapped under a glass and taken outside.
Martin Scorsese.
A gritty reboot of Spider-Man, and it's set in Australia. So much more dangerous.
The movie will be over immediately. You get bitten by a spider and die.
The gritty reboot, the Australian gritty reboot of Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's just like hiding on the underside of a toilet seat, bites him on the arse, dies instantly in horrific pain. That's it. It's only one scene. It's fucking grim.
It's an effective way to take down criminals.
It is, yeah.
The xenophobic sequel to the Fantastic Four, which has a fifth member. I don't know. Enid Blyton. I don't know.
Things you wouldn't get in an MCU movie. Iron Man listens to other people's opinions and criticisms.
Hawkeye gets a P45 because nobody cares about archery.
Okay.
The X-Men.
Yeah.
It's coming. Anyway, I love the X-Men.
Okay, next one.
Sorry, last one.
Go.
Sorry. Iron Man, or to give him his real name, Female. I'm done. Sorry.
Bad things to see at the Winter Olympics.
The Winter Olympics.
Yeah.
The sun.
It's the double, triple spin. Wait, no, quadruple spin. Hang on, octuple spin. Oh my gosh, she can't stop spinning. I think she's got something. She's shouting, "Help me, I can't stop spinning."
She screams in perpetual motion.
Normal skiing. Like, why is there no normal, like, there's jumpy skiing, and there's fast skiing, and there's dodgy skiing, but there's no normal skiing.
Dodgy skiing? Do you just mean bad skiing?
No, that one where it's like, whee! And it's like,
yeah. Zigzaggy skiing.
Zigzag skiing, exactly.
Leisure skiing, competitive leisure skiing.
I can't say that word, Sam. Slalom. That.
Slalom. Oh, yeah.
Slalom.
Bad things to see at the Winter Olympics. The looks on the faces of the PR people of the Spring and Autumn Olympics.
The volleyball championships.
Yeah.
The frostbite ward.
Oh.
The queue to see Santa Claus.
White Walkers playing curling with heads.
A bad thing to see. Imagine if like they did the like, toboggan things, and then it turns out so they got there, and it turns out they forgot their toboggan. Like would they go down there on their bellies?
Sliding down.
Yeah. Imagine halfway down there, not again.
You see that video of one of the people who's doing, like, one of the women who was doing the skeleton, and she like went to go jump on her like skeleton board, but missed it and just went like landed on her belly on the ramp and just went down the whole thing face first by herself.
Penguin.
Yeah, like bareback. She should have got a gold for that, in my opinion. She survived.
Actual skeletons.
Oh.
Vladimir Putin on a horse on a date.
The Human Torch. He's just there trying to build a snowman.
One of the curling stones is a grumpy old turtle.
What was that one, David?
One of the curling stones is a grumpy old turtle.
It's a bad things. You just described a Pixar movie.
To see it at the Winter Olympics.
Okay. Any more for this one? Sorry.
As part of a sponsorship deal, all of the brooms in the curling have been replaced with Dyson Hoovers.
Tom,
and little old ladies in housecoats.
I don't think this is a bad thing, but if I ever can't be asked for the Winter Olympics, I do just slap through running.
Yeah.
Okay, final one. Unfortunate things to hear at a baptism ceremony.
Whoa! I have to discuss all of Satan's works. What?
We'd enjoy his earlier albums, yeah.
Could it be a priest that's using one wrong word, meaning the whole thing's pointless?
Don't worry, the human body can survive without oxygen for 5 minutes.
I'm sorry to report that we've discovered that your baby was made of salt.
Due to budget cuts, we will unfortunately be using the same water for all baptisms today.
I'm sorry to report that we've discovered that your baby was made of potassium.
Oh my God, get the baby's head out of the water. There's a shark.
Who threw a bath bomb in?
Oh, no, wait. That was the barbecue.
Okay.
One of those in the church.
Any more for that?
And you press this button for the bubbles.
Imagine if they put the baby in and it just drank all the water, just slurped it like.
Like being baptized in the font, but it's that horrible cocktail bar on Oxford Road.
Okay, right. I have sent the final scores to Sam. I am dying for a piss, so before I announce the scores, I will be right back.
Piss.
How long is it going to take Sam to count the scores? How long is it going to take Johnny to wait?
Might be a lot of points.
As long as a piece of poo.
So what do we do now that
Johnny?
What do we do now?
We can be naughty. We can do whatever we want.
Free swim! Yeah! Right.
Well, Sam's ready, so Sam won the race when it came to points versus piss.
Oh, the new game show premiering. Who would we get to host it?
Me.
Oh yeah.
Ben Goldacre, he does all of them. He's got contracts.
Oh dear.
Has everybody had a lovely time?
Yeah.
I tell you what, Tom, I've had a lovely time, and it doesn't even matter if I win the yacht.
Oh, thank you, Kirsty, also.
As long as I can have the cuddly toy, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I won the combination tease made an alarm clock. That's what I want.
No, I want the black.
That's a consumer durable that has ironically not stood the test of time.
I blame Big Kettle.
I hope Johnny put his headphones back on just for I blame Big Kettle.
I did, yeah.
No, we're not doing context.
That's
Context is
talking
for
about
cowards.
crisps.
That is the answer.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam, for reminding me about the bins.
Oh yeah.
good. Callback.
Bins out.
Right. Okay,
For the
so
lads.
I think Sam should win because she reminded us of the bins.
Yeah, thank you. That is genuinely really, really helpful. Because
Bonus points for Sam.
That is always a winner. Okay, before I announce final scores, just one more time. If you've enjoyed this show, or even if you haven't, but just don't want us all to starve, please, you can send us some money via PayPal or Patreon or here on Twitch. Merchant Big Cartel. All of our shows are pay what you want, whether they're online or in person. So if you are able to spare a few quid, we'd really appreciate that. If you're not, just shout about how great we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and anywhere else on the internet that you may be. So at the end of the show, we've got Tom's team with a strong 49. The winners are Katie's team with 75 points.
Whoa! That's play.
Wonderful. Vladimir Putin was a large portion of that.
I mean,
Isn't
Vladimir Putin's
anything.
a large proportion of what right now?
So Anna, Tommy's first chat is just bins.
Bins.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, so while we're taking things out, first of all, thank you all so much for watching. If you are in Manchester, we do still have 5 tickets remaining, or we did at the beginning of the show, they might have gone now, for our next live show with Tom Short, Cheeky Keita, Kat Molinari, Ash Preston, and Tony Basnet guest emceeing. Or if you can't make it, we will be streaming an edited down version of the show right here on Twitch on the 14th of March. And on the 28th of March, you can join myself, Kirsty Summers, Bobby Jones, Tom Short, Kitty Messalina, Eddie French, and Ash Preston, where we will be discussing the news events of March, including Tattoo single-handedly bringing down Vladimir Putin, and peace to Eurasia, Louis C.K. elected the next president of Russia, and Prince Andrew definitely doesn't or didn't do anything untowards. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.